The plan should be implemented in the later stages. When Kanyuan Liu appears seeking revenge on the demon emperor, everyone will be able to accept it, as it aligns perfectly with Kanyuan Liu's usual way of doing things. Didn't the 19th Prince say he would deploy the heavenly demon team to destroy Kanyuan? Kanyuan first destroys your heavenly demon team, doesn't it make sense? In this way, everyone's attention will be focused on the hypothetical Kanyuan Liu, without questioning whether Kanyuan Liu is real or fake. There will be no strong reaction to Lin Zaiasu appearing among them. Moreover, he deliberately wraps himself in a shell of Kanyuan, making everyone in the world hesitate to act against him. Is there any point in covering oneself with a shell of Kanyuan? What can be said? The significance is decisive. If Lin Zaiasu wasn't suspected of having a Kanyuan background, do you think the demon sect leader would really care about your Marquis Zui identity and thus engage in equal dialogue with you? The demon sect leader is Jai San, who can sit on par with the emperor. If not for considering his Kanyuan background, the sect leader wouldn't even give him a chance to speak. According to conventional methods, when a department encounters serious problems, the higher-ups are unlikely to publicly disclose the issues of this department, preferring to handle it secretly. Today's public interrogation and dealing, seemingly abnormal, actually serve as a step. After all, if they can't take down this demon destruction palace figure, then they owe the people of the demon domain an explanation, clearly telling them it's not the demon sect being weak in front of the Kanyuan culprit, but that the Demon King Palace itself deserves to be destroyed. This Kanyuan culprit is actually helping the demon sect to clean its house. In this way, both sides save face. All of this falls within Lin Zaiasu's calculation. This is truly plotting against people and hearts. And Kanyuan Liu's appearance at the brothel was actually an accident. An excellent strategist always knows how to seize various accidents, turning them into their greatest opportunities. Lin Zaiasu stands out particularly in this regard. As he predicted at this moment within the demon sect, above the demon hall holy hall, the demon sect leader sits with eyes closed, while below, top-level elders are in abundance, discussing the most critical issue. The core question is simply, was Su Lin's move to destroy the Demon King Palace his own intention, or was it Kanyuan's? This question is an exceptionally serious one. The second elder, a master strategist, unfolds a lengthy discourse. His central thought is, this action is obviously Kanyuan's intention. Otherwise, how could a world traveler have such audacity? Why would Kanyuan intervene in the Demon King Palace incident? It's because Kanyuan realizes that the Heart Dao and mental path's infiltration of the world's sects is a dangerous thing. If the Heart Dao penetrates too deeply into the sects, it could integrate the entire cultivation path, forming an unprecedented behemoth, which might even have the means to challenge Kanyuan. Kanyuan has always been the sole overlord of the world, unwilling to share the dominion with other superpowers. Based on this, Kanyuan's world traveler would definitely act against the Heart Dao, mental path, and Heart Pavilion. This matches Su Lin's usual style. As the discussion continues, everyone remains silent, as under this argument, no other viewpoints can hold. Only those with a high enough standing and a grand enough vision can have such insight. The sect leader's gaze falls to one side, where there's an elder behaving oddly. While others engage in the discussion, he does not. He just quietly gazes at the sky, his gaze seemingly connected to the stars above. Third Supreme, the sect leader speaks, what news do you have from over there? With one sentence, all discussions below fall silent. For the Third Supreme, the sect leader refers to is a highly respected Supreme Elder who has just been in contact with Kanyuan's main branch. Third Supreme slowly draws his gaze back from the distance, bowing slightly. Sect leader, the people from over there said that Kanyuan has no plans to destroy the Demon King Palace. However, due to Kanyuan Liu's elusive movements, contact could not be established, so it is unknown if this Kanyuan Liu has made any private arrangements. Chapter 879, Chapter 702, Celebrating the New Year with Two Fairies. The Great Elder spoke. It is rumored that the Kanyuan 13 elite, directly under the jurisdiction of the Yuan Master, do not follow the arrangements of the Kanyuan Elder Group. Now, the situation becomes even more mysterious. As a top-tier sect, they have a communication channel with Kanyuan. If it were a common matter, they would know it by investigating. However, when it involves the Kanyuan 13 elite, things become complicated. The 13 elite possess Jai-san-level combat power and are not ordinary warriors. They only take orders from the Yuan master. Their actions are diverse. Kang Yuan Liu's actions have always been extreme. People still can't determine if Kang Yuan Liu's involvement in the destruction of the Demon Destruction Palace was his own decision or represented the opinion of the most mysterious Yuan master. The scene shifts back to the small town. The town was already deep into the night. In the small garden, flowers bloomed in profusion. Outside the garden, the north wind howled and snowflakes flew. The moon demon softly said, "Does Master wish to return to the desolate capital for the new year?" "Yes." "The desolate capital. Is there someone Master can't let go of?" This sentence trembled with emotion, like a tender blossom quietly unfolding in the wind, revealing its captivating core. "Not really," Lin Zaiasu replied. "In fact, in this world there's no one I can't part with. Returning to the Marquis Mansion, it's probably just spending the new year alone." The moon demon's cheeks glowed with brilliance. "Then why not spend this new year here?" Lin Zaiasu was slightly taken aback. He hadn't considered this. "Sister Han Yan is also here, and we can spend this new year together, Master. Is that all right?" The moon demon's voice was full of hope. The word master, tender and romantic. The phrase, "is that all right?" was full of twists and turns. Lin Zaiasu's gaze shifted to Han Yan. "Cold Fairy, aren't you going home for the new year?" Han Yan pouted. "My family was raided this year, and I probably won't be in a good mood to celebrate, so I won't go back and add to my parents' troubles." "How can you be like this, Han Yan's sister?" the moon demon said. "Do you really care about those properties outside? I can make it up to you all right." "Oh my God, Sister Yue, you are siding with him in everything now, and he hasn't even agreed yet. If he refuses later, you will feel the chill of the north wind," Han Yan said. "Are you waiting for me to refuse? Why would I refuse? I won't refuse." Lin Zaiasu gave her a sidelong glance and stood up. "Where's my room?" The moon demon broke into a joyful smile and giggled. "You'll stay in my room, and I'll stay with Sister Han Yan." The next morning, Lin Zaiasu woke up from his bed and stepped out of the room, surprised. The small garden outside had changed. There were no peach blossoms, but plum blossoms. Snow covered the garden, and a path of footprints led towards the courtyard gate. The moon demon was nowhere to be seen. There was only one person, sitting in the small pavilion sipping tea. It was Han Yan. Lin Zaiasu stepped into the pavilion, picked up the teapot in front and poured a cup. "Where is she?" He was, of course, referring to the moon demon. "Sister Yue has gone mad." Han Yan took a gentle sip of tea. "Mad?" "Yes, the dignified great demon king, this morning with a small basket, stepped out like a village girl to buy things. She said she wanted to buy red paper for window flowers, buy big red lanterns to hang high, buy wine, meat, and vegetables. She doesn't want a fairy's peaceful years. She wants to celebrate New Year as a mortal woman," Han Yan said. "I think she's gone mad, don't you think?" "Do you think a fairy descending to the mortal world is madness?" "If not madness, then what?" "It's adorable, it's endearing." Lin Zaiasu took a sip of tea. The teacup hid his line of sight, and he didn't see Han Yan rolling her eyes. "I suddenly feel that spending this new year here might be quite awkward. Should I leave?" Han Yan's voice came. "That's fine, I'll let her know when she returns," Lin Zaiasu said. "Still thinking of driving me away?" "You scheming bastard, what's your intention?" Han Yan bit her teeth slowly. "Marquis Su, can I give you a piece of advice?" "No," Lin Zaiasu said. "Seeing your gritted teeth, I'm sure your advice would be unpleasant. It's the new year, don't spoil the mood." "Even if you don't want to hear it, I'll say it." Han Yan exhaled deeply. "In this day and age, a true gentleman does not seek repayment for his kindness." "Gentleman? Why are you talking to me about a gentleman? Do you think I'm quite like a gentleman?" Lin Zaiasu had a slightly surprised expression. "Come on, everyone on Jiangnan Road knows I'm miles away from being a gentleman." Han Yan's teeth truly bit down. "So, you've made up your mind to ruin her, is that it?" "Ruin? How would I ruin her?" Lin Zaiasu asked. Han Yan really wanted to break down the topic with him. "Clearly tell him that you may harm the various sects in Jiangnan, but you'd better not harm my friend. Don't think just because you've helped her. You can toy with her, but these words are hard to say aloud." "No one has said it outright. Is it appropriate for me to make it explicit?" "Forget it, I'll just remind Sister Yue directly later, change the topic. The demon emperor of the demon domain has been destroyed, but eventually there will be another demon emperor. Marquis Su, You have always excelled in political maneuvering. Could you predict the traits of the next demon emperor? He will evidently be much more gentle than the previous demon emperor, Lin Zaiasu said. Gentle? Evidently gentle. Han Yan's brows slightly furrowed. You don't even know who the new demon emperor is. How can you assert he'll be gentle? Maybe this new demon emperor will be even more aggressive. Lin Zaiasu gave a faint smile. Who says I don't know who the new demon emperor is? Han Yan was truly surprised. You know, who is it? Most likely, the Feihua Valley Master. That's impossible, absolutely impossible, Han Yan said. Although the Feihua Valley Master is also a great demon king, his strength is not superior in the entire demon domain, and he has no foundation in the demon sect. Chapter 880, Chapter 702, Spending the New Year with Two Fairies, Part 2. You say it's impossible, but I say it's possible. Want to make a bet? Lin Zaiasu said. A bet? Bet on what? If I win, you take me to the heavenly capital and let me meet the Lord of Heaven in a friendly atmosphere, Lin Zaiasu said. What if you lose? Han Yan said. If I lose, the condition is up to you, Lin Zaiasu said. Han Yan said, if you lose, I want to hear you play 3 pieces, 1 joyful, 1 sad, and 1 calm. Deal, Lin Zaiasu said. Han Yan laughed. Now you can think about your 3 pieces because you definitely can't win. Lin Zaiasu also laughed. Let's set aside winning or losing for now. I'm rather curious, why do you still want me to play for you? The one who ties the knot must untie it, that's all there is to it. Lin Zaiasu understood. This woman, she's not actually foolish. The injury to her Tao realm was caused by Lin Zaiasu's music. Normally, someone hurt by music would be wary of it afterward. However, she realized the profound life philosophy of where one falls is where one must rise again, which also aligns with the great Tao's principles. She became even more determined, wanting to hear his music in 3 forms, joyful, sad, and calm. These 3 types of music represent 3 ultimate emotions and also signify a progressive process in music theory. With a whoosh, it was as if flowers bloomed in the air. A figure descended from the sky. Lin Zaiasu raised his eyes in surprise. The one who came down was the moon demon, quite normal. She was dressed like a human girl, also normal, because she intended to spend an extraordinary spring festival as a human girl. She went out early in the morning to buy groceries, leaving footprints in the snow instead of flying, which was evidence. However, at this moment, she descended through the air, not following the steps of humans. Why? The moon demon softly exclaimed. Young master, big news just came from the demon city. You won't believe it, my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law has become the new demon emperor. What? Han Yan jumped up. She reacted intensely. The moon demon grabbed her. Han Yan, can you believe it? Who would have thought such a strange thing would happen? The entire demon domain is stunned. The news just reached the town and everyone there is dazed. Han Yan took a deep breath, but someone did think of it. Just now they even bet with me on this. The moon demon was also dumbfounded. Han Yan slowly turned her gaze to Lin Zaiasu. Marquis Su, your information in the demon domain is quite sharp, faster even than the new demon emperor's sister-in-law. Didn't you know already? Wasn't it a bit too much to bet on information you already had? The moon demon's heart raced. Could this be possible? The appointment of her brother-in-law as the demon emperor was just announced. There was no prior information, and as soon as it was announced, her sister shared it remotely. In theory, no one in the world should have heard about it earlier than she did. Lin Zaiasu put down his teacup. In the demon domain, the only person I know is the moon demon fairy. I don't know anyone else, so how could there be any information exchange? That's true. Han Yan's gaze flickered. Then how did you deduce that there was a high probability that the new demon emperor would be the Feihua Valley Master? His strength isn't particularly outstanding, and he has no foundation in the demon sect. The moon demon also looked at Lin Zaiasu. Yes, Han Yan's question was the same as hers. Even her sister and brother-in-law were bewildered when they received the appointment. They never expected it, yet young Master Su did. How could this be? As Han Yan said, even though her brother-in-law was a great demon king, his strength wasn't exceptional in the entire demon domain. Hundreds of others possessed similar strength. Considering the flower demon's lack of combat prowess, he might even rank at the bottom among these hundreds. In terms of his foundation in the demon sect, he was practically non-existent. What exactly made young Master Su so optimistic about her brother-in-law? What exactly led to her brother-in-law's leap of honor? Lin Asu said, the position of the demon emperor in the demon domain has similarities and differences with the human emperor, which combined led to his achievement. He provided an explanation. The demon emperor of the demon domain is essentially an agent of the demon sect in worldly affairs. In the vast demon domain, worldly matters are controlled by this demon emperor, so he resembles a human emperor overseeing this land. The human emperor doesn't emphasize personal strength. He focuses on the foundational support of the populace. Therefore, selecting someone who represents the interests of the majority as this emperor is the best fit. Historically, minority rule over a large nation is flawed and isn't considered legitimate, whereas having a representative of the majority as emperor aligns with legitimacy. Solely based on population size, the flower demon is the absolute majority in the demon domain. So, having a flower demon as the demon emperor can better win the people's hearts and legitimacy. Earlier, the heavenly demon being the demon emperor actually went against the rule of majority ethnic emperors, leading to various issues later on. As long as the demon sect has some insight, the same mistake won't be made again. This reasoning left both women stunned. His logic sounded absurd, but upon reflection it made sense. The human emperor must either conquer with strength or win with the people's support, choosing one. But the Demon King Palace isn't purely a human empire. It's more like an external administrative agency of the demon sect, making true military conquest impossible. Instead, it's appointed by the demon sect. With the basic goal of ruling the entire demon domain, the demon sect naturally should choose someone who can represent the interests of the vast majority for the demon emperor position. Chapter 881, Chapter 702, Celebrating the New Year with Two Fairies, Part 3. As for being weak in strength and not too ambitious, is that a weakness? Isn't that a strength? At least the demon sect can use it with confidence. And those other formidable heavenly demons in the demon domain, no matter how strong they are, can they surpass the demon sect? They can forget about being the emperor. It's enough to be a general under the emperor. This is called making the best use of one's talents. Han Yan understood this profound truth and sighed. No wonder you managed to enter the officialdom and secure a third-rank official position within just half a year, and easily nabbed the marquis title. You've clearly seen through the entire imperial authority arena. Lin Asu smiled gently. Moon Demon Fairy, your brother-in-law became the Demon Emperor, and your sister is now the Empress. Aren't you going back to Demon City for a family reunion and share in the glory this spring festival? Moon Demon got anxious. I've already bought the groceries. I'm spending the new year here. I've already talked it over with my sister and she agreed. You all agreed too. We promised each other, didn't we, young master? All right then, Lin Xiaosu's gaze shifted to Han Yan. Agreed, Han Yan declared. Moon Demon happily picked up a small basket. Han Yan, my dear sister, let's go and prepare the vegetables. Lin Xiaosu sat in the pavilion, sipping tea. The two women busied themselves in the kitchen, which Lin Xiaosu found quite affecting. A demon emperor's sister-in-law and a Tiandu second saintess were bustling in the kitchen, while their brother leisurely lounged in the pavilion. Who could have imagined? The strange thing was that the only sounds from the kitchen were of vegetables being prepared. They weren't speaking, which was unusual. They must be using divine sense communication to say something right. With divine sense communication, there is no lip movement, so lip reading is not possible either. But does that mean there is no way to eavesdrop? Lin Xiaosu's mind slightly stirred. Perhaps there was something he could use, something that could come into play. Let's see if this thing truly has such great divine power. With a thought, it seemed as if a heavenly window opened upon his spirit platform. An invisible beam of light projected outward, enveloping the kitchen. This was the kindling lamp. His kindling lamp of the human race. Under the coverage of the kindling lamp, heavenly Tao was shielded. In other words, in the space under this kindling lamp, he was the master of heavenly Tao. Heavenly Tao could listen to the cultivator's divine sense communication, so could he, this temporary master. If indeed possible, this kindling lamp would be truly terrifying. Its uses would be incredibly broad. His detective skill would shine brilliantly in this world. This was a trial of the skill. Lin Xiaosu could swear on his already non-existent innocence that he didn't intentionally eavesdrop on the two women's secrets. Under the kindling lamp he heard Moon Demon's voice. You mentioned betting. What did you bet with him? Han Yan replied angrily. I just wanted to trick him into letting me hear some melodious tunes. Melodious tunes, that's great. I want to listen too. Moon Demon was very excited. You want to listen, then bring back some good news. Once your news gets back, he'd win and the tunes would be off the table, Han Yan said. Moon Demon was a bit frustrated. News is just news, can I choose? It's your fault for not judging the situation better. If you had, wouldn't you have won? It's easy for you to say. Could you have anticipated it beforehand? Han Yan retorted irritably. I couldn't either. Who could be as clever as he is? Moon Demon's tone was full of pride. This is very strange, sister. His cleverness causes me frustration, yet you're so proud. Whose side are you on? Han Yan asked. Moon Demon gave her a sideways glance and didn't answer. Han Yan added, by the way, I must warn you, Sister Yue, you're an exception among flowers. You represent purity. If your Tao heart is compromised and something inappropriate happens this spring festival, your heavenly patrol path of seeing with the moon will become a dead end. I know. Moon Demon took a deep breath. I'm always controlling myself. You're controlling yourself. Then why must you have him stay for the new year? I think you're indulging yourself. He's helped me so much. I just want to express a bit of gratitude, really. Moon Demon's voice wavered a bit. Han Yan stared at her calmly. Sister Yue, you've been around men before. You know very well the truth that affection is poison on the path. Why then jump into this pit? I know this truth, but I just like him, really, really like him. I feel if he were to be this far away from my world, even if I cultivate the moon of heaven patrol, it would be meaningless. Sister Yue, you're beyond saving. Han Yan said each word with a tone of helplessness and deep speechlessness. They could never have known this conversation, originally just intimate talk between best friends, but in front of Lin's divine artifact, was not private. Every word was heard by Lin Zaiasu. Heaven bears witness, he didn't purposely eavesdrop. He was really just testing the power of the kindling lamp, exploring its applications, but unintentionally caught this. Besides having some unusual feelings aroused in his heart, what else could he do? It seems I'm in a situation similar to a love-struck peach blossom spirit. Traveling to the demon domain, it seems I bumped into a love-struck peach blossom spirit. With this new perspective, looking at the moon demon again, she seems slightly different. This girl has both fairy and demoness qualities. She appears extremely pure, yet exudes an all-encompassing mysterious allure. This upcoming spring festival seems to be a trial of physiology. The upcoming spring festival is sure to be a completely new experience for all three of them. As the Tiandu Saintess, Han Yan is part of a culture that emphasizes transcendence, where all worldly customs should be shielded, the more thoroughly the better, to bring her closer to immortality and Tao. However, this spring festival, she was swept into the mundane daily life of oil, rice, seasoning by others. Chapter 882, Chapter 702, Celebrating the New Year with Two Fairies, Part 4. She really wanted to leave right then, but she was truly worried about the moon demon. The moon demon's state was too abnormal. She was completely a woman in love, and she worried that once she left, the moon demon might turn around and offer herself to that scoundrel. This best friend was her friend, a steadfast friend proving true affection in times of trouble. Could she really abandon her to a dire situation and remain indifferent? Thus, during this lunar new year, she could only eat earthly meals, watch the red lanterns hung on the trees, and see the moon demon and him cutting paper decorations together. By the way, cutting paper decorations is incredibly childish. As someone who holding the way, arranging the courtyard was such a simple task. Was there really a need to cut red paper into window decorations just to add a festive touch? However, on this New Year's Eve, everything became extraordinarily heartwarming. Outside, snowflakes danced in the air. Inside, a small red clay stove warmed the room. The three of them sat around the stove, tasting earthly pastries. Han Yan slowly began to feel that the human New Year had a certain warmth, a hint of coziness amidst plainness. If her experience was merely the occasional experience of a fairy descending to the mortal realm, the moon demon's experience was 10,000 times more profound than hers. It was her first time celebrating the Lunar New Year. It was her first time cutting paper decorations. It was her first time lighting a stove, her first time warming wine and cooking for a man. During these 7 days, she was not the exalted demon above the moon. She was a human woman treading the yellow earth of the mortal realm, her cheeks dusted with earthly smoke, spending the new year with her lover. Every word, every glance, every dish, every soup, every festival. All were firsts for her, all left imprints on her heart. Looking at the fire in front of her, hearing the reminder from her best friend, she felt as though her heart was in turmoil. Tonight is New Year's Eve, and tomorrow he leaves. From now on they will be scattered beyond the South Sea, their whereabouts unknown. From now on, the two will roam the world without a known return. The more beautiful tonight is, the more yearning there will be tomorrow. This longing will be poured into the 10,000 years to come. When will it reach the end? Sir, are you really leaving tomorrow? The moon demon gently raised her head. Yes. Will you ever come to the demon domain again? Lin Zaiasu raised his eyes and looked into hers. They were full of reluctance, full of anticipation, awaiting a date for a reunion. Yet the world was like a chessboard, the mission like a tether, life's impermanence. Who knows? How could he use an unsettled time, an uncertain promise, to betray this rare expression of true affection in the world? He did not answer. Not answering was also an answer. The anticipation in the moon demon's eyes slowly faded. She smiled gently. Sir, may I play a tune for you on the gyukin? This smile was so poignantly beautiful. Her fingers gently fell on the gyukin before her. The sound of the zither flowed like water during this New Year's Eve. This tune was not moon sacrifice song. Its name was something to think about. Like a person's veranda, like a person's whispers, the terrace was desolate, the moonlight was cold, the person gazed into the distance. Outside, peach blossoms bloomed again, the petals fluttered like Li-Ren tears. The moon demon's body gently split in two. One moon demon played the zither, the other danced alone in the garden. Her dance was soft and graceful, her eyes wrapped in emotion, her tears transformed into flower dew that flew, her feelings reached sublime elevation here. In the snow, dancing alone. When the moon rises, my heart is like the moon. Han Yan looked on in a daze, her reminder still locked in silence. Only a sigh lingered between her lips. Chapter 883, Chapter 703, Han Yan's Tao heart in turmoil. The wind blows, the solitary shadow slowly disperses. The wind blows, the last trace of the zither sound melts among the flowers. Peach blossoms fall, scattered on yellow mud. Eyes shine just like Chunchui. The dam in Lin Zaiasu's heart was broken at this moment. He took a deep breath. I will send you a song too, this song, Farewell Tonight. Behind him, an ancient peak stood tall. Atop the peak, a Dharma form. The Dharma form raised a hand, a flute in the hand playing a tune. His mouth opened, accompanied by this charming tune, he began to sing a song. O intoxicating night, that bright moon, who keeps the shyness in the blooming season? How many can continue the naive love? The laboring swallows scatter, and once gone, flowers bloom and wither. The moon demon was carried away by this beautiful melody, unable to turn back. Han Yan stared blankly at the flute, listening to his song. Her whole music theory world was shattered at this moment. She is the one who feels Lin's music theory the most. However, today's music has jumped out of her expected framework. This song is so full of emotion, so full of musicality. These lyrics are so straightforward, so passionate. Every note hits her heart. Every line of lyrics ensnares people, unwilling to turn back. For her, music theory is the way into Tao. She never really thought music theory was beautiful. But tonight this music, with its poignant beauty, with that trace of human emotion, is so moving. This heavenly pride in music theory, who had entered heavenly capital and gradually moved away from the world of mortals, seemed to be pulled back to the human world, once again experiencing thoughts, emotions, injuries. In essence, it's an impact on Tao realm. Yet she suddenly felt her Tao realm becoming enriched, showing no sign of damage. The cultivation law of heavenly capital avoids the world of mortals. All cultivation in heavenly capital tells her to stay away from the world of mortals, farther away. Is it wrong? Is it really wrong? This is Han Yan's surprise, but also her unease. Surprise because any upheaval in Tao realm is actually an opportunity, unease, because she examined her past path, questioning for the first time in her life the right and wrong of this path. As the last lingering sound merged into the outside's remaining moonlight, the two looked at each other, and for a moment only had each other in their eyes and nothing else. The night is deep, my lord, let me see you to rest, the moon demon whispered. Okay. Entering his room, Han Yan sat alone in the small house, her eyes closed, seeming to enter a seclusion, yet also seemed to be striving to adjust the surging waves in her Tao realm. She didn't suffer Tao injury. My lord's tune even has the effect of soothing her Tao injury. The moon demon glanced into the small house. I can see that, Lin Ziasu said. My lord, The moon demon gently held his hand. Her hand was very soft. Fairy, what do you want to say? Lin Ziasu's heart was beating fast. If his premonition was correct, the dam in her heart should have also burst. I have fallen in love with a man. He's leaving tomorrow. I don't know how to make him stay. I just know I cannot accept future years without him forever and ever. The moon demon raised her gaze slowly, bravely facing Lin Ziasu. Lin Ziasu quietly looked into her eyes, slowly raised his hand, letting go of her hand. In the moon demon's eyes, bit by bit disappointment. He ultimately let go of her hand. This release is their ending, isn't it? However, this pair of hands lightly lifted, placed around her waist, tenderly embraced, the moon demon entered his arms. The moon demon's heart completely stopped beating at this moment. For the first time, her spirit soared above the sky beneath the bright moon. I don't actually have the habit of spending New Year in unrelated men's homes. Lin Ziasu's lips pressed against her ear. Spending the New Year here with you, only because you are you. My lord, the moon demon raised her hands, embraced his neck. Her whole being seemed to completely melt into his arms. You just asked me if I will come back to the demon domain. I didn't answer because I couldn't find a reason why I must return. Lin Ziasu said, but now I can answer you. I will come back because you are here. The moon demon happily said, someone told me my Moon of Heaven patrol would step into a dead end if I fell in love with you. But it's actually wrong. The Moon of Heaven patrol is a moon of emotion. If there is no goal, my moonlight lacks a reason to cross the demon domain and step into the world. Now I have this reason. My Moon of Heaven patrol has hoped to cross the boundary of the demon domain and come before my husband. Husband? Lin Ziasu glanced at her lips, gently uttering 2 words. The moon demon's gaze slightly unsettled. Husband, tonight don't break my body, otherwise my future achievement of Moon of Heaven patrol won't be complete. Can you just kiss me? Okay. Lips fall like placing a seal. As for the body, let's leave it for now. Because her Moon of Heaven patrol indeed needs to keep the body pure until it truly forms, then it won't be an issue anymore. And the Moon of Heaven patrol marks her stepping into the demon emperor realm. When that day comes, her moon can cross the boundary of the demon domain and truly reach the threshold of Heaven patrol. Their time together wasn't actually long. Amidst Han Yan's Tao realm confusion, they pierced through that layer of window paper. Then, the moon demon contentedly retreated from the room. Just in time for Han Yan to awaken from the Tao realm confusion. Han Yan glanced at the teapot on the fire, estimated the time, breathed a sigh of relief. Chapter 884, Chapter 703, Han Yan's Tao Heart in Turmoil Part 2. The time she spent on enlightenment just now was very short, at most a quarter of an hour. In such a short time, it was impossible for the two to do anything. In the end, my best friend held on to this boundary on the eve of this scoundrel's departure. Not easy at all. My New Year's task is finally completed, more challenging indeed. However, she carefully scrutinizes her best friend and suddenly has a doubt. Why does her whole being look like a flower that has just bloomed, devoid of the previous sorrow and melancholy? What's going on? This is not a good sign. This is a very dangerous signal. It seems we must act decisively. Marquisu, New Year's Eve has passed. Daybreak is upon us. We should set off. All right, Lin Ziasu left the room. At this moment, daylight was nearly breaking. Sister Yue, goodbye, Han Yan said. Moon Demon nodded gently. Let's go. Han Yan waved her hand, and a jade hairpin fell to the ground, transforming into a flying shuttle. Lin Ziasu stepped aboard, exchanging a glance with the Moon Demon. Darling, I'm leaving. Dear, don't stray from her on the journey. The Moon Demon transmitted a message. The flying shuttle soared into the sky, carrying Han Yan and Lin Ziasu away from the demon domain, heading back to the desolate capital. At dawn, a red sun leaped from behind clouds, casting golden light across the realm, tearing through the night's veil. Han Yan turned her gaze lightly. Do you know why she wants you and I to travel together? Lin Ziasu withdrew his gaze from afar, landing it on her face, cautiously guessing. Does she hope for us to have a harmonious relationship? Han Yan pursed her lips, hoping for a harmonious relationship. We two adversaries have spent New Year's together without fighting fiercely. That's harmonious enough as it gets. How can it be more harmonious? She merely knows you have become a taboo in the world now, and is worried that the people from the mental path might ambush you en route, hence involving me to impart the might of the heavenly capital, adding another layer of deterrence to potential assassins. This statement is accurate. Lin Zaiasu, possibly having a background with Kanyuan. That is also another deterrence. Under normal circumstances, no ordinary person would dare to harbor any malicious intentions against him. However, at this moment, his grievances with the Heart Tao and mental path are not ordinary. Previously facing the Heart Pavilion, he struck them, overthrowing 2 Heart Pavilions already, a significant enmity, yet, compared to the actions within the demon domain, it's merely trivial. In the demon domain, the Heart Path setup against the Demon King Palace pertains to 3 major top-tier forces, possibly even a top-level game involving 4 top-tier forces. Which 4? The Demon Sect, Ancient Sect, Mental Path, and one even more terrifying Heart Tao, the Heart Tao within the 6 paths and 9 gates. This top secret, revealed publicly by Lin Zaiasu, had unprecedented impact. The mental path setup within the Demon Sect was completely destroyed. The Demon King Palace was annihilated, the demon domain ecosystem entirely altered, and none of those dark demons sent as seeds into the Demon Sect likely remained. Years of painstaking effort, all ruined at his hands. You say, does the mental path or Heart Tao not hate him? Moreover, the mental path's infiltration aimed at top-level forces, so publicly known, would prompt how many forces into self-preservation. Under universal self-preservation, the mental path, Heart Tao, would become worldwide taboos, thoroughly isolated. Unable to provoke you, they can only avoid you. This will make their future actions tenfold, hundredfold more challenging. All this blame falls upon Su Lin. The mental path, Heart Tao's utmost desire is to kill him right now. Though having a Kanyuan background, is it truly frightening to them? The Heart Tao's ambitions are vast, methods aplenty. Kanyuan mighty, though its reach isn't sufficiently extended in this world. Merely reputation might not intimidate these 2 giants. What's to be done? Introduce a super force, heavenly capital, more influence in this world, reality-based strength, more reliable. Heavenly capital is the leader of the 3 sects. Its reputation, though not as famed as Kanyuan, it excels in deep-rooted local presence, with visible, tangible headquarters, possessing more direct control over realistic crises. Let Lin Zaiasu and the Tiandu 2 Saintesses accompany each other. Even should the Heart Tao be rampant, they'd reconsider whether they can bear the joint retaliation of Kanyuan, this one, and Heavenly Capital, the head of 3 sects. This is the Moon Demon's plan. This young lady, though on her own cultivation path, dares not give her body to her beloved, but the affection has been expressed, treasures explored. Heart also succumbed, directly addressing him as dear husband, inwardly already deeming him the true husband. The primary plan is to increase his return journey safety. Does this planning hold substantial significance? Sitting on the flying shuttle, Lin Zaiasu's gaze sweeps over the fields. At this moment, the Tao flower from the space law is wilted, seemingly a step away from fruition. His sight extends 100 miles beyond. Wherever his sight lands, there lies mystical mechanisms. Yet even he cannot confirm whether these mechanisms relate to the Heart Tao, mental path. Anyway, no one courts proximity. Thus, traversing tens of thousands of miles smoothly, entering within the great wilderness. Ahead lies Moon Lake. You've arrived home, Lin Zaiasu said. We should also part ways. The flying shuttle descends, breaking through the sky, landing on Moon Lake, transforming into a flatboat. Han Yan slowly turns aside, gazing at Lin Zaiasu. What's wrong? Reluctant to leave me, Lin Zaiasu smiled. Han Yan bit her lip. At the moment of departure, there are 2 things I must tell you. Go ahead. First matter, our wager I lost, I admit. Whenever you arrive at Heavenly Capital, mention my name first. I will take you to meet the Master, but let me speak frankly. This is purely our desire. Whether the Master wishes to see you, I cannot guarantee. Han Yan said. Chapter 885. Chapter 703. Han Yan's Tao Heart in Termal /3. Okay, what's the second sentence? Han Yan said. The second sentence is still the same advice. You'd better forget the Moon Demon and don't think about going to the demon domain again. If you insist on disturbing her Tao Heart, I will still consider you my enemy. Lin Zaiasu quietly looked at her, his expression somewhat hesitant. Han Yan glared at him. What, is this matter quite troubling for you? Lin Ziasu lightly exhaled. Indeed, it's a bit troubling, but the struggle isn't about whether to go to the demon domain or not. Rather, it's whether to discuss the so-called Tao heart with you. Han Yan was slightly surprised. Debate on Tao with me. Lin Ziasu gave a faint smile, interested. Han Yan laughed. Debating on Tao is the righteous path for a cultivator. How could there be no interest? Marquis Su's discourse, this lady is quite looking forward to it, please. Lin Ziasu said, let's start the debate on Tao from past events. I'll play a tune for you. He stretched his hand, and the flute was in his grasp. Han Yan's eyes flickered with light. What tune do you want to play? Is it joyful, sad, or calm? It's an old tune, Spring River Flower Moon Night. Han Yan's face shifted dramatically. Spring River Flower Moon Night, she was far too sensitive about it. Back in the day, it was on the Moon Lake, where she got injured by a tune. She went far away to the 10,000 Races music festival in the demon domain, all just to find a cure for the Tao injury. Currently, the Tao injury has healed by 90%, but upon hearing this familiar name, her Tao realm spirit platform fluctuated greatly. You bastard, you truly can't stand seeing me well. Just as I was getting better, you want to stab me again. Flute music had already begun. On a sunny day, it was as if stepping into a spring night. The bright moon hung high, someone by the riverfront. The wind rose over the Zhu River. The moon sprinkled on the moon lake. Han Yan was instantaneously brought into this extraordinary realm. The music flowed by her ears. The bright moon flowed across the sky. Endless charm flowed across the spirit platform. Time seemed to stand still. Space seemed to transform. Only the spring water on the spirit platform complemented her music Tao realm, allowing her music Tao to progress step by step. She didn't notice that her Tao injury was healing rapidly. Until the Tao injury was nearly healed, with just a final trace remaining. The Spring River Flower Moon Night tune went silent. Han Yan withdrew from this special realm, scanned her primordial spirit over the spirit platform, and was astonished. The Tao injury hadn't worsened, instead, it had healed considerably. Lin Ziasu flipped his hand, the flute disappeared. He raised his gaze with some mystery in his eyes. Your Tao injury is pretty much healed now, right? Yes, Han Yan spat out a word. Lin Ziasu said, doesn't it feel strange? The first time you heard Spring River, your Tao injury was hard to heal. Hearing Spring River again, the Tao injury actually healed. Yes, Han Yan spat out another word. Lin Ziasu said, the tune hasn't changed, the person hasn't changed, even the moon lake beneath your feet hasn't changed, yet the result has changed. Have you ever thought about why? Mindset changed, Han Yan said. That day we were adversaries, your strength harmed me, but now we're just debating on Tao. Your music Tao is profound, and I am pleased to hear it. As she spoke these words, her spirit platform Tao injury truly healed, the last trace closed, and the spirit platform became completely lucid. Exactly, Lin Ziasu smiled. This is what you've emphasized many times, the Tao heart. Han Yan's body slightly trembled. She finally captured the key point of this debate on Tao heart. In heavenly capital cultivation, Tao heart is the most important. The heavenly Tao claims the closest to immortality. Tao heart advocates purity and clarity. Regarding Tao heart, not only figures like her saintess-level characters, but even ordinary disciples could debate about it for 3 days and nights, and it's often regarded as a profound maxim by other sects. He actually debated Tao heart right in front of her. Tao heart is often understood too stubbornly by many cultivators, even called obstinacy. Anything not aligning with their own great Tao heart is defined as pollution and avoided like a scourge. But in reality, this is a deviation from the path of Tao. Tao heart is nothing but a matter of mindset. Viewing the same thing with different mindsets changes the perception entirely. This is precisely the reason. One must understand all things in heaven and earth. There are 3,000 great Tao. Blooming flowers are Tao, falling flowers are Tao, sunny is Tao, rain and snow are Tao. The heavenly purity of blue sky and white clouds is Tao. Why then wouldn't the sewage of a flowing ditch be Tao? In all things, existence is Tao. The so-called transparency of Tao heart is to see through, to see what you don't like but also accept it calmly. This is, the heart holds no soil, Tao heart self-cleanses, everything in the world is natural. You're not debating Tao, you're spouting nonsense. Indeed, there are 3,000 great Tao, but every cultivator has their standards. Right is right, wrong is wrong. Your rambling is nothing but worldly argument, irrelevant to Tao, Han Yan said. Fine, fine, you're stubborn and persistent. Let me ask you a question, Lin Ziasu said. In your view, is the action of men and women removing clothes sacred or debased? Han Yan fiercely glared at him. Can't win the argument, so trying to act indecently. If you bring up such vulgar topics again, don't blame me for walking away. Indecent, that's your definition, and also the gap in your Tao realm. Lin Ziasu said. You only see the debasement in men and women removing clothes and acting, yet you fail to see the sanctity of life propagation, the convergence of the yin-yang path, the crucial link on the reincarnation road, the prologue on the life Tao, an indispensable cornerstone of the whole heavenly Tao, not to mention all things in the world, even the Taoist ancestor himself. The life imprint was implanted from this act, without this seemingly debased link in your eyes. How could there be the great Tao in the world? How could there be a complete heavenly Tao? Han Yan was completely bewildered. She suddenly felt her Tao heart view was shattered. Do you still think that action is completely unacceptable now? Lin Ziasu stared at her. Chapter 886, Chapter 703, Han Yan's Tao Heart Disturbed Part 4. Han Yan's lips quivered slightly. Is this the reason you insist on bothering her? Look at what you're saying. Am I only bothering her? Aren't I also bothering you? Don't misunderstand, haha, my damage to you is at most shattering your Tao heart. Lin Ziasu said, haha, I'm going home to celebrate New Year, heading out, goodbye. His laughter still echoed in the air. His figure had already disappeared without a trace, accompanied by the yin-yang step. Han Yan sat on the flying shuttle, disoriented in the cold wind. His every word was so absurd and eccentric. However, once she pondered deeply, she found herself ensnared in confusion. A heart free of impurities, a self-purifying Tao heart, myriad worldly affairs all come naturally. These 16 words lingered long in her ears. Ultimately, there is impurity in the world, but as long as you don't view them as impurities, they won't be and won't affect your Tao heart. Take the shameless example he mentioned. It truly makes sense. If any respectable woman doesn't treat that messed up affair as filth, yet with another perspective, can this matter be dismissed entirely? If the Taoist ancestor's parents were not, would there still be a Taoist ancestor? If her own parents didn't engage in this dirty business, would there be Han Yan? If you don't do it, I don't do it. Everyone doesn't do it, wouldn't the world collapse? Is this truly the ultimate reason of heavenly Tao? Or just an excuse the rogue made to toy with Sister Moon Demon? So hard to guess. Lin Ziasu took only half of 2 hours to enter the capital. A quarter hour later, he entered the Marquis Mansion. Yes, the gold-plated sign at Su Mansion bestowed by Your Majesty has changed again. Now it has been replaced with 5 characters. Zui Marquis Mansion. Added below a single character, Su. Also a bestowed sign from Your Majesty. Moreover, Your Majesty's penmanship has improved. Lin Ziasu didn't bother knocking, directly stepped over the courtyard wall. The steward, making a turn out front, spotted him at once, calling out loudly, shaking the entire Marquis Mansion. Marquis is back, everyone gathered to welcome. Hurriedly, dozens of people rushed forward, simultaneously kneeling. Welcome back, Marquis. Their voices were uniformly joyful, filled with happiness. The first day of the Lunar New Year. Traditionally, when visiting during the New Year, one must give red packets. Lin Ziasu said, Steward, 10 pieces of desert gold for each person. 10 pieces. My heavens, Marquis is crazy upon returning, giving so much. All the servants were stunned. The steward beamed, as the Marquis commands. Lin Ziasu glanced around. Steward, why doesn't the mansion have any New Year's atmosphere? Marquis, your old self hasn't been home, unknown where to suffer hardships. How could the servants neglect the family head and indulge in the mundane New Year? The steward's voice was slightly choking. You're a bit too obsessed, Lin Ziasu said. What kind of person is your Marquis? You still worried I couldn't arrange a New Year's dinner outside? Well, get the festivities started. Everyone was overjoyed. The New Year's supplies were actually already prepared, just that the family head wasn't home. The steward didn't allow them to bring them out, yet his reasoning was quite justified. The family head at this moment was enduring hardship somewhere unknown, while we were consuming delicious food and indulging in enjoyment during the festive season. Does it make sense? Now it was fine. The family head returned lively and refreshed, and also instructed to celebrate the new year. So stick up the couplets, cut the window flowers, cook the dishes, change into new clothes. The awaited New Year's atmosphere at the Marquis mansion began to emerge at the moment the red lanterns were hung. A figure slid through the air, landing beside him. Lin Ziyasu's heart lightly jumped. The newcomer was Qing Ying. "Greetings, Marquis," Qing Ying bowed. "When did you return?" Lin Ziyasu asked. "Returned on the 26th of the last lunar month," answered Qing Ying. "Let's go to the gauze pavilion." "Yes." Lin Ziyasu walked towards the gauze pavilion. In the gauze pavilion, Zio Hong and little Qing were arranging fruit plates and tea. Lin Ziyasu seated himself directly, reaching out gently. "You sit too." Qing Ying also sat down. Zio Hong and little Qing exchanged a glance, bowed simultaneously, and quietly exited the gauze pavilion. Lin Ziyasu flicked his fingers lightly. A drop of tea flew out, soundproofing the space. Qing Ying stood up. "Marquis, while in the distant Lanzhou, I kept hearing your legend, truly wished to return and congratulate you in person, but the task Marquis assigned was not yet completed. I dared not return to the capital." Lin Ziyasu laughed. "Just moved up a rank and gained a title, is it anything at all? As the Marquis speaks, Qing Ying believes, but under heaven, I'm afraid only the Marquis could be so indifferent to fame and fortune." Lin Ziyasu tapped his finger lightly. "Sit down, talk about what interests me." Qing Ying sat down. Marquis instructed two matters that day. The more Qing Ying investigated, the more alarmed and worried she became. Chapter 887. Chapter 704. Mental Paths Retaliation, Fourth Realm National War. On that day, Qing Ying was originally supposed to go to Jiangnan with Lin Ziyasu. But she didn't go, because Lin Ziyasu assigned her a task: go to Lanzhou. She received instructions for two matters. First, investigate the Kaiyan sect. Second, investigate King Lanning. What exactly should be investigated? From all angles. This instruction is exceedingly taboo, because the targets of investigation are all extraordinary. King Lanning, the current second prince, has maintained his status among the top two princes for a long time. Many people have speculated that, after the former crown prince Hong Ding collapsed, he was the most hopeful to succeed in the Eastern Palace. And the Kaiyan sect is even more formidable. It is a branch of the Wandu sect. What kind of sect is the Wandu sect? One of the 9 gates. That is to say, its position in Jianghu is comparable to the ancient sect, demon sect, and even the former reincarnation sect. It is one of the 19 super giants at the top of the pyramid. Under normal circumstances, who would dare provoke the Wandu sect? Who would dare directly target the Kaiyan sect, a branch of the Wandu sect? But this new aristocrat in the Dawang court insists on having such courage, arranging for his trusted aides to enter Lanzhou before going to Jiangnan, to thoroughly investigate these two major targets, one prince currently holding the top position, one force on the pinnacle of the cultivation path. After 4 months of comprehensive investigation, Qing Ying has basically completed her task, fully reporting to Lin Ziyasu. Her report focuses on the Kaiyan sect. The Kaiyan sect is very evil. The Kaiyan sect is a sect on an island in a lake. That lake is called Tianji Lake, because the water changes color with the seasons, sometimes revealing heavenly mechanisms, attracting countless cultivators to view it as a holy ground for cultivation, flocking there. However, 1,000 years ago, an originally non-native super sect, Wandu sect, reached into the lake, and upon their involvement, the lake turned into a poison lake, its water poisonous, the creatures within highly toxic. Even the wind over the lake carried poison. This poison, not to mention ordinary people who certainly couldn't endure it, even cultivators couldn't withstand it. Thus, the fishermen on the lake, the people on the shore, the sects around the lake, died or fled, eventually making the entire lake a sphere of influence for the Wandu sect, without anyone daring to lay a finger on it. Wandu sect engaged in large-scale infrastructural development on the island at the heart of the lake, establishing a new sect, known as Kaiyan sect. If it were only this lake, it wouldn't be too extreme. However, there are signs showing that the Kaiyan sect has been expanding, using extremely treacherous methods. Round Tianji Lake hundreds of years ago, a kind of grass called Menjian grass appeared out of nowhere. This grass has extraordinary resilience. It takes root on landing, and upon contact by humans or animals can cause madness in mild cases or instant death in severe cases. More deadly, the seeds of this grass float with the wind, rooting upon landing, its roots rapidly spreading underground, growing faster than bamboo shoots. The land along the lakeside is rapidly being occupied by this toxic grass. Regardless of whether it's the government, local magnates, villagers, or cultivation sects, they naturally refuse to let the fertile land passed down from their ancestors become a field of poisonous grass. So they've tried all means to remove the grass, but it's exceedingly difficult. Pull this grass up, leave it under the sun for 10 days, half a month. It still lives when exposed to water. Cut it into numerous sections, and each part can take root. If you think of burning it clean, congratulations, you found a fast track to the ghost gate. The smoke created by burning the grass can wipe out an entire village. The government really had no solutions. Some even approached the Kaindu sect, negotiating, pleading, explaining the dangers. However, people from the Kaindu sect deny it. They absolutely refuse to admit the spreading of the Menjian grass is related to them. They also refuse to remedy it. Almost all informed individuals know this Menjian grass is a demon artifact used by the Kaindu sect to seize territory. However, they simply won't admit it. This leaves no way at all. With the backing of one of the 19 giants, the Wandu sect, no one dares to use force to eliminate it, and without removing it, this Menjian grass aggressively spreads in an extremely domineering fashion. Within 500 years, half of Lanzhou has fallen, entirely becoming these toxic grass fields. Regardless of originally belonging to the government, the imperial family, large clan families or sects, all of it is occupied by the toxic grass. The air is filled with hallucination-inducing toxic gas. The land is entirely toxic fields. All water sources are toxic water. How can a person live there? So they can only relocate. Currently, the area of half a province is effectively under the control of the Kaindu sect. Only they can freely move in and out of this toxic sphere, and they even raise a large number of poisonous creatures within. This is the situation of the Kaindu sect. Their expansion has not stopped. Currently, this poisonous grass is still spreading, already less than 100 miles from the capital Dongning city of Lanzhou. Some have estimated, in at most 10 years, this ancient city of 3,000 years will be completely overrun by toxic grass. The Dongning 17 families and 3 great sects are fiercely competing with the Kaindu sect. There are signs showing, in the past year alone, 72 horrific cases occurred because of this, with 4,329 people poisoned to death. At this point, Qingying took out a thick booklet, where she recorded detailed historical data of these 72 horrific cases with her fly-sized handwriting. Lin Ziasu received this booklet, soaked with her 4 months of sweat, and flipped through it, quickly scanning. Roughly a quarter of an hour later, he turned to the last page. All right, now tell me about King Lanning. If the Kaindu sect is like demons, then King Lanning in Lanzhou is practically a living Buddha for all families. Qingying explained the situation she had learned. Chapter 888, Chapter 704, Mental Paths Revenge, 4th Realm National War /2. The Lan Ning King, the second son of the current majesty, was intelligent from a young age, with literary talent and grace. At the same time, he is also a cultivator and has reached the Enlightenment realm, being the only prince to achieve this. He is indifferent to fame and fortune, and does not participate in the Crown Prince competition. When the Crown Prince governed, he also summoned him back to the capital to assist in handling state affairs, but he politely declined, saying he wished to be a carefree prince. The most profound impression he left on the people of Lanzhou was his benevolence. On his fief, there is a spiritual spring named Wayu Spring, which can cure all poisons in the world. Lanzhou faced the oppression of the Kaindu sect, with countless people poisoned every day. The Lan Ning King opened the spiritual spring to help the poisoned people. No matter if they were sect disciples, clan children, or ordinary people, he treated them equally. And what's more commendable is that he used the spiritual spring to save lives without charging a single penny. Therefore, in the hearts of all Lanzhou people, this Lan Ning King is a wise king of a generation. There are even rumors among the folk, saying virtuous east, poisonous west. The Kaindu sect is in the west, while the Lan Ning King is in the east. Lin Ziasu raised the teacup in his hand. Is this what you've achieved in these 4 months? Qingying replied, if the Marquis had given me only a month to investigate, it is possible that the intelligence Qingying brought back would be just these, but the Marquis gave me too long to investigate. Besides these, I also brought back some interesting things. Oh, tell me, said Lin Zaiasu. Qing Ying said, I disguised myself as a maid in the prince mansion and lived there for a whole month. I discovered that this Lan Ning King is a very self-disciplined person. Self-disciplined? Yes, disciplined to the point of having a fixed routine for every meal, every meditation, every dealing with the mansion's affairs, even where the pen he uses is placed. Nothing ever changes. Interesting? This detail is very interesting, Lin Zaiasu said. A carefree prince does not need to be so self-disciplined. Only someone intending to achieve great things would have such a consciousness of discipline. Exactly. If his carefree nature is false, then the other side he presents to the world isn't necessarily true, Qing Ying said. Continue, Lin Zaiasu said. This mindset, I re-examined this virtuous king and found 3 doubts. First, the Kaiendu sect poisons and he detoxifies, clearly opposing the Kaiendu sect, yet they have never retaliated against him. Second, although his spiritual spring is heavily guarded, the Wandu sect is behind the Kaiendu sect. They must have ways to contaminate this spring, but for so many years it remains untainted. Third, he actually has a very good relationship with the former crown prince Hongding. Qing Ying took a deep breath. Thus, I have reason to suspect that his benevolence is deliberately crafted. He could be playing a role with the Kaiendu sect to achieve mutual success. He allows them to invade half of Lanzhou, while the Kaiendu sect and Wandu sect build his reputation as a virtuous king, even using this to help him vie for the Eastern Palace. Since returning to the desolate capital these few days, I've also truly felt the new political winds at the court. Many are already creating momentum for him, saying this virtuous king is suitable for the position in the Eastern Palace. Lin Zaiasu laughed. Qing Ying, you've matured. Qing Ying was overjoyed. Does the Marquis acknowledge Qing Ying's judgment? Lin Zaiasu said, do you know why I sent you specifically to Lanzhou to investigate these 2 forces? Only because I already had a basic outline in my mind, and the information you verified essentially confirmed my judgment. Qing Ying's heart pounded. Marquis, does His Majesty intend to target Lanzhou? This mission was not arranged by His Majesty but by myself, Lin Zaiasu said. All right, spend this spring festival peacefully. After the Lantern Festival, we set off for Lanzhou. His voice suddenly stopped, because the butler hurried over. Lin Zaiasu flicked his finger lightly. The soundproof barrier unfolded, and the butler exclaimed, Marquis, the 7th prince is visiting the mansion. His face was beaming with joy. Qing Ying also showed a peculiar look in her eyes. The 7th prince is a royal prince. No matter how much a prince values someone, he shouldn't visit on the morning of the first day of the Lunar New Year, as this time is too sensitive. The first day of the Lunar New Year is a time for New Year's greetings. The dynasty system is about hierarchy. A prince visiting the Marquis mansion on the morning of the first day of the Lunar New Year, even if not for New Year's greetings, must be New Year's greetings in essence. As a prince giving New Year's greetings to the Marquis, wouldn't this disrupt the order? Lin Zaiasu quickly got up and went to the front hall to welcome him. Upon entering, he saw the 7th Prince Hong Yun dressed in new festive clothing. Besides the 7th Prince, there was also Princess Fu Feng, also dressed elegantly. Greetings, Your Highness. Greetings, Princess Consort, Lin Zaiasu saluted. Today's visit is to give you New Year's greetings. No need to be formal. The 7th Prince laughed. Lin Zaiasu said, Your Highness, you flatter this humble officer. I was just preparing to visit your mansion first. No need, come. Let's share a drink and exchange greetings in the gauze pavilion. The 7th Prince reached out, grabbed Lin Zaiasu's hand, and directly led him to the gauze pavilion. With a gentle smile, Fu Feng followed. As they entered the gauze pavilion, Qing Ying had already prepared the tea set, wine, and some snacks. They sat down as host and guest. I heard that the day after you returned from Jiangnan, you again roamed the Jianghu. The 7th Prince raised his teacup. Fu Feng also lifted her teacup, showing her interest. Lin Zaiasu smiled. When I went to Jiangnan, I had an unexpected encounter with a fellow sect member who said there were affairs in the sect, so I accompanied him back to the ancient sect. Before returning to the ancient sect, you also went to the demon domain and caused quite a stir, didn't you? Said the 7th Prince. Chapter 889. Chapter 704. Mental Paths Retaliation, 4th Realm National War /3. Such a considerable windstorm, Your Highness, to which one are you referring? Lin Zaiasu asked. Which one? Naturally, it's the one where Marquis Su played the burial flower song atop the brothel in Gui City, along with the complete poem, outshining the Wan clan and leaving a mark in history. What else could it be? Fu Feng's eyes were also sparkling with brilliance. Females of the Kinkyu Fox clan are extremely fond of literature, which seems to be a common trait of the Fox clan. Fox clan women allure worldly scholars, which is part of their tradition. This shows their deep admiration for the human clan's elegance. A few days ago, from the desolate capital in the great wilderness royal city, emerged an exquisite long poem, Burial Flower Song, along with an unparalleled melody, also Burial Flower Song, which became all the rage as soon as it spread. Simultaneously, a legend penetrated into the desolate capital. Some say that this song and poem were created by the great wilderness snow robe marquis, performed at the brothel in Gui City within the demon domain, gaining renown throughout the demon domain, outshining the Wan clan. Fu Feng's heart was in upheaval. Could it really be done by my own charming brother-in-law? The mystery shall be revealed now. Lin Zaiasu laughed. It's been almost a month since. I thought you were referring to the Demon Emperor Palace Annihilation War. Demon Emperor Palace Annihilation War. The seventh prince was suddenly shocked. What do you mean? Lin Zaiasu slightly furrowed his brow. Your Highness is unaware. The demon domain is 400,000 miles away from here. Information is that easy to transmit, is it? Indeed, Lin Zaiasu said. The Demon Emperor Palace Annihilation War was orchestrated by me. I allied with the Demon Domain 9 Division's flower demons to overthrow the Demon Emperor Palace. Since the news will eventually spread, I might as well be honest about it. The seventh prince suddenly flinched, the teacup in his hand shaking violently. You overthrew the Demon Emperor Palace. Yes, it happened on the 25th day of the lunar month. The entire place fell silent like the night. Qing Ying's mouth slightly opened. Fu Feng's mouth slightly opened. The seventh prince's open mouth slowly closed, very slowly. Finally, he lightly exhaled, an array. There are elements of an array, Lin Zaiasu said. Demon sect. The demon sect hasn't retaliated against you. At the mention of the demon sect, there seemed to be an invisible suppression, making everyone unable to exhale. Such is the power of reputation from 19 super giants. Just hearing about it can make one feel suffocated. Lin Zaiasu smiled. I've met the sect leader of the demon sect personally. He expressed his gratitude to me and even invited me to visit his demon sect. Do you know why? The seventh prince silently swallowed. Why? Because I told him that everyone in the Demon Emperor Palace, including the Demon Emperor himself, are Heart Dao dogs, and the Heart Dao has infiltrated the demon sect full well. Like a muffled thunder exploding in the gauze pavilion, the seventh prince slowly raised his head. The Heart Dao's infiltration into the demon sect is true, and not your strategy. Of course it's true, Lin Zaiasu said. I informed your highness of this today, hoping to draw your attention. There may be a windstorm on the way. What kind of windstorm? Lin Zaiasu said. Exposing the Heart Dao conspiracy will be a serious blow to both Heart Dao and Heart Path. Due to the Heart Dao's modus operandi, they are bound to have retaliation. Retaliation against me personally is secondary. We need to guard against retaliation targeting the Dahuang country. The seventh prince exhaled deeply. The windstorm you speak of may not be on the way but is already in action. Lin Zaiasu was slightly alarmed. What has occurred? The seventh prince said, on the 26th day of the lunar month, the fourth realm launched war simultaneously. The intensity at the onset is unprecedented. Lin Zaiasu's heart jumped. The 26th day of the lunar month, simultaneously. Exactly. According to what you said, on the 25th day of the lunar month you overthrew the Demon Emperor Palace, and on the 26th day, the four realms simultaneously launched national conflict. Originally, it was also perplexing to me, but now hearing your words, maybe I can conclude that these four countries have been infiltrated by the Heart Dao. They are retaliating. Four realms, four countries. North is Yan country, east is Chu country, west is Yi country, south borders the sea. Is there any country launching a sea invasion? Lin Zaiasu asked. Central domain Kaiyuan country, the seventh prince replied. Today I come to pay respects and also seek advice from the war god on how to face enemies from the four realms. Lin Zaiasu stood up, bowing deeply. Your Highness, due to me, Dahuang country is suffering the consequences. The seventh prince also stood up. Marquis Su must not say so. If we speak of roots, Marquis Su's enmity with the Heart Dao was also for my Han royal family. If we talk about repercussions, it was my Han royal family that implicated you first. Besides, the animosity between Da Wang and the Heart Dao is inevitable. The Four Realms crisis will sooner or later need to be confronted. Lin Zaiasu said, "Thank your highness for your generosity. May I ask, your highness, how is the court currently responding?" With the Four Realms in motion, the court's military resources are limited, quite in the predicament of being stretched thin. Father has ordered Li Yafu, the master of Zhen Heaven Pavilion Military Hall, to command separately and reinforce urgently. 27 teams left the capital 3 days ago, heading to the battlefield. Where has the 7th team been dispatched to? Marquis Su indeed has feelings for the 7th team, asking about it first. The 7th prince said, "Father promoted Quang Lang to 10,000 soldiers general, leading 7 teams totaling 20,000 men, headed to Lanzhou Jiantai to assist General Zulong in defending against Bai Yan. Bai Yan is the most dangerous among the Four Realms, isn't it?" Precisely. Bai Yan has deployed the illustrious Blood-Fire Army. The Icy River battle on the 27th day of the lunar month almost breached our forces' line, extremely perilous. The 7th prince said, "The left Grand Master Zhou he proposed that father summon you back to the capital to counter the threat from Bai Yan. All the ministers in the court unanimously supported, but I and Master Song opposed it, and father adopted a compromise plan, promoting Quang Lang, sending 7 heavenly suppressing teams to fight Bai Yan, without summoning you back to the capital." Chapter 890, Chapter 704, Mental Paths Retaliation, 4th Realm National War Part 4. Lin Zaiasu's gaze lifted, staring at the 7th prince. The 7th prince also looked at him, his expression quite serious. "Why does your highness oppose?" Lin Zaiasu asked. "To you, I will speak honestly. If it were someone else proposing this suggestion, I might agree, but since the proposer is Zhou He, I dare not overlook it," the 7th prince said. "Later, I discussed with Master Song deep into the night and arrived at a terrifying hypothesis." "Speak on, your highness." The 7th prince said, "Master Song suspects that Zhou He's move is to use Bai Yan's strength to kill you on the battlefield. Father hesitated over the suggestion and ultimately rejected the proposal to summon you back to the capital, likely having realized this." Lin Zaiasu's gaze slowly lifted. This is seeing the essence through the phenomena. How many people's rice bowls were turned upside down by Lin Zaiasu going to Jiangnan? How many people's comfort zones were shattered? How many people's privileged lives were compromised? How many people wish they could eat his flesh and sleep on his skin? Even without speaking of these grudges, beyond Jiangnan, who wouldn't hope that the man who shakes the earth with one inspection would just drop dead? Those bureaucrats outside the Jiangnan district, those court officials entangled with interests outside the Jiangnan district, those with stakes in Jiangnan district would certainly not wish for him to pay a new visit to go to Jiangbei, go to Northwest, rewriting their entire chain of interests. However, your majesty tasted the sweetness of his acts in Jiangnan. How could he abandon such a sharp sword? Therefore, as long as Su Lin does not die, the same thing will definitely happen again and again. Thus, whether it be the mental path or the court bigwigs, they all hope he dies. He is someone your majesty wants to protect. He is also someone Jiangnan cultivation path cannot kill. Ordinary methods cannot kill him. But at this moment, a 4th realm national war erupted by the mental path. Zhou He presented an apparently extremely reasonable military proposal. Marquis Su, who is called the war god on the battlefield, facing national peril, how can he not fight? Send him on. This, if it is a pinpoint assassination targeting him, then it is a meticulously planned strategy precise to the millimeter. Peripheral 4 countries, domain external mental path court bigwigs. Almost every force has a position in this. The 7th prince lightly sipped some tea. If this thing is indeed an assassination targeting you, the fact is it has already failed. As long as you do not step onto the battlefield, their plan cannot succeed. Qing Ying suddenly spoke. If Marquis does not go onto the battlefield, then the Northern Territory might be truly endangered. She is someone with military knowledge. She knows how much an outstanding war god can add value to an army. If the enemy targets Su Lin, the strategy they adopt will certainly be extremely frightening. Su Lin being present might be able to counter it somewhat. If Su Lin is absent, the strategy targeting him will fall upon the Mad Wolf team and General Zulong. How could these two possibly withstand it? Fu Feng also spoke. On this point, I have a different perspective. If the opponent indeed targets Marquis Su, it will precisely lead to another scenario. Before Marquis Su appears on the battlefield, the opponent's last resort tactics will not be used, thus General Quanglang and General Zulong will be safer. The seventh prince nodded. What Fu Feng says makes sense. If their ultimate goal is Marquis Su, Su Lin not stepping onto the battlefield would prevent them from easily using their bottom cards, exposing them without achieving the surprising victory to hunt Marquis Su. So, if you sincerely wish for this team's safety, stay well at home and don't fall into their trap. Lin Ziasu said, though your highness and lady's interpretations carry certain truth, they are ultimately risky. If the opponent knows I will never fall into their trap, they will still go all out anyway, first taking down the northern territory then devising another plan. Thus, step onto the battlefield, I will, at least to send them this signal. I, Su Lin, will inevitably step onto the battlefield eventually. Let them reserve their strongest cards for me. Chapter 891, Chapter 705, Former Professor Lin Weiyang. The seventh prince's eyes lit up. It's a matter of time, but when, where, and how you act, it's all within your control, right? Exactly. In warfare, the last thing you want is to be led by the nose, Lin Ziasu said. Before the 15th day of the first month, I will stand by. After that, I shall enter Lanzhou. Enter Lanzhou or head to the battlefield, the seventh prince asked. I have requested a decree from His Majesty to inspect the sects in Lanzhou, but Jiantai is right there in Lanzhou. Let them guess. Marquis Su, a new year brings a new challenge upon your head, the seventh prince declared. Tomorrow, I also plan to lead my troops southward. You take the north, I'll take the south, and we'll echo each other from a distance. Your Highness is heading south too, Lin Ziasu asked. Yes, I have received the holy decree and was supposed to set out 3 days ago. I delayed just to see you before leaving. All right, Your Highness heads south, I will go north and we'll echo each other from afar. Lin Ziasu stood up. The seventh prince also rose. Today we toast with tea to our familiar battlefield campaigns, and with wine from the pot, we shall celebrate our victorious return one day. The 2 teacups gently clinked, marking the opening scene of their camaraderie on the battlefield. The seventh prince took his leave. Lin Ziasu bowed to send him off at the gauze pavilion. The silhouette of the seventh prince disappeared at the corner of the courtyard wall. Lin Ziasu raised his gaze, quietly observing the 3 handwritten characters above him. Gauze Pavilion. Qing Ying exhaled lightly. In a year of great contention, heroes rise. The Marquis ascends in this era of intrigue, as the times drive this prince, who has guarded the northern territory for 11 years, to march south again. There's also another newly risen person who visited the Marquis's residence yesterday, but you were not in. Oh, who is it? Lin Ziasu asked. This person seems gentle and refined, but his steps are unsteady, and it's hard to discern his cultivation. However, his emergence was astonishing, regarded as the second dark horse in the great wilderness dynasty, besides the Marquis, Qing Ying said. What were his achievements? Within the great wilderness, there were originally 8 heart pavilions. The Marquis personally dismantled 2 of them. The remaining 6, this person eradicated them all. The 6 pavilion masters perished, and the people in the pavilion were subdued by him using a secret technique, all pledging allegiance to him. Qing Ying's voice was very mysterious. Lin Ziasu's heart raced. What's the background of this person? With his current cultivation, he didn't care much about the heart pavilions. If he acted, wiping out 6 heart pavilions would be easy, but destroying and subduing them were 2 entirely different concepts. Even for him, subduing the core members of the heart path, who had been entrenched in the great wilderness for many years with subdivine skill, was quite unimaginable. However, he hadn't acted, yet someone else did, someone who seemed unsteady and with undiscernible cultivation. Who could it be? This person's surname is Lin, a name with some ancient significance, a double name Weiyang. Lin Ziasu's eyes suddenly widened. Lin Weiyang, the professor from the past. Within Daxia country, among his former acquaintances, there were only 2 people he couldn't see through. One was Lu Yun. The other was Lin Weiyang. This Lin Weiyang, in many matters, seemed like his opponent. For example, when he targeted the Changsheng group, Li Changsheng's daughter Li Ziyan was a disciple of Lin Weiyang. Li Ziyan was wanted, and had long been hiding in his Bai Shan residence. For example, when he sought one of the sub-god 3 treasures, the Moon Lotus, in the Middle East and played political games with various factions until chaos ensued, Lin Weiyang casually plucked this peach in the Moon Lotus struggle and took advantage of Lin Zaiasu as a pawn. But later, he and Lin Huayang ended up on the same path. Lin Huayang, under the name Six-Eared Left Holder, provided valuable information to Qianlong. He became an effective ally in his contest against the nine-headed snake. During the ancient wilderness's breaking realm, Lin Huayang always stood on their side, formulating war plans, and even directly intervening in the battlefield, personally killing the Utopia Venerable Master who broke out of the Earth Core. This Lin Huayang appearing suddenly in the Great Wilderness Dynasty, is it the same Lin Huayang? His actions were once again in total alignment with his own, eradicating the 6 heart pavilions, but what was the intention? Where is this person? Lin Zaiasu asked. Qing Ying replied, this person eradicated the 6 heart pavilions and presented the heart pavilions accumulated 30 million desert gold and countless jewels to His Majesty, just like the Marquis. His Majesty was very pleased, appointed him as Deputy Director of the 4th Department under Zhen Heaven Pavilion Xin Hall, granted him a 5th rank title, and tasked him with leading the 700 experts who surrendered. He should be in Zhen Heaven Pavilion now. It's almost noon, so I won't discuss it further. Tomorrow come with me to Zhen Heaven Pavilion, Lin Zaiasu said. Yes. Lin Zaiasu got up and left the gauze pavilion, entering his study. Qing Ying stood outside the study, peering through the slit in the door to see Lin Zaiasu inside, writing with flair, unable to discern from this angle what he was writing. Qing Ying gazed at the face, increasingly handsome and elegant after months of absence, and felt a growing infatuation. For someone working in intelligence, the more you look at people, the clearer they usually become. Many legendary leaders, when approached, give a feeling of they're just an ordinary person. But this was quite the opposite for their own Marquis. At first glance, he seemed like just an ordinary person, perhaps a bit more handsome, with a bit more literary talent. However, the longer you observed and the closer you got, the more enigmatic he became. His magic had never been in just one area. Chapter 892, Chapter 705, Former Professor Lin Huayang /2. His wonders are constantly exhibited in various ways. His literary talent advances towards the extraordinary step by step. His wisdom advances towards the extraordinary step by step. His cultivation seems to be advancing rapidly as well. Various new skills are also constantly being unlocked. Why does such a miraculous person exist in the world? If Qing Ying could see what he was doing at this moment, it would once again overthrow her perception on top of the current basis. Because what Lin Zaiasu was doing was nearly challenging his own limits. He was not writing. He was carving an array. The array he was carving was the commonly seen innate yin-yang chaos array. This is not strange. What's strange is that his speed was shockingly fast. A set of heavenly yin-yang chaos array, consisting of 36 array crystals, would take a normal array master 3 days to carve a set and be considered a master, but he carved 100 sets in 2 hours. The pen did not touch ink, slid across the array crystal, and in a moment, complex and incredible patterns were left on the crystal clear array crystal, as if the highest end and most miraculous sculptor had completed his proficient and smooth routine operation. 2 hours later, he lightly waved his hand. The 3,600 array crystal pillars engraved with strange patterns, like the most exquisite artworks, were collected into the inner space. In front of him appeared more than 300 array crystal pillars again. Lin Zaiasu put away his pen and extended his fingers. His demeanor became extremely grave. Silently, an image of Earth appeared behind his mind. His fingers seemed to become a divine artifact in the hand of the Creator. The more than 300 array crystal pillars in front of him seemed to lose the concept of space at this moment. This time the array he carved was the Dezhou Heaven small killing array that shocked the world when exhibited once above the Demon Emperor Palace in the Demon Domain. The biggest difference between the Dezhou Heaven array system and the Heavenly Yin-Yang Chaos array is that it is not inscribed with the 5 elements power, but with the Heavenly Tao 7 techniques. The Heavenly Tao 7 techniques carved onto the array crystal pillars do not display any patterns. All the mystical mechanisms are hidden inside. Such array crystal pillars, even if someone got them, it would be impossible to decipher the array patterns inside, thus fundamentally preventing imitation and replication. Precisely because of its high-end mystery. The time spent is also much longer. From noon until late at night. Lin Zaiyasu only carved 2 sets. With everything prepared, Lin Zaiyasu put them all away, ate the supper brought by Zio Hong, and went to bed. He slept soundly until the sun was high the next day. Got up, had breakfast. Lin Zaiyasu looked up at the sun and called Qing Ying. Here, silently, Qing Ying appeared in front of him. Let's go to Zhen Heaven Pavilion. Today is the 2nd day of the Lunar New Year. The restaurant was relatively quiet. The saying, even beggars take a 3-day break for the new year, applies universally, no matter the world. This world is no different. Shop owners take 2 days off at home. Farm households also rest at home for 2 days. Sons-in-law, taking their wives and children with big and small bags, visit their father-in-law and mother-in-law's home for the new year, which is also customary here. On the street, there were many sons-in-law from large households, riding carriages to the Yue family. Qing Ying, walking on the street, looked at the marquis walking ahead. Marquis, you could have arranged a dragon carriage. A marquis, indeed, has the qualification to ride a dragon carriage. As long as a person has this qualification, even if financially strained, they would have one to showcase their status. Their own marquis seemingly has no such desire, resulting in today's outing, the dignified marquis, walking the streets alongside those of lower status. Lin Zaiyasu laughed. I could fly through the sky, there's no need for such a thing for travel, let alone the fact that it's quite precious. Maintaining 1 dragon horse costs more than raising 10 maidservants. Why bother? With that spare money, I would rather give more to the servants. Wouldn't everyone be happier? But you won't seem like a marquis then. Qing Ying also laughed. Does a marquis need a horse to prove his status? Such a marquis is quite low class. Lin Zaiyasu said. Not to mention, on this 2nd day of the Lunar New Year, strolling on the street has its own fun. The two continued on their way. The speed grew faster and faster. An hour later, they crossed the North Gate, where once the Buddhist sect fought for dominance. Ahead was Zhen Heaven Pavilion. Zhen Heaven Pavilion, its top was once leveled by a sword. This sword, in Lin Zaiasu's eyes at that time, came from the formidable Kang Yuan. But today, looking again at this shaved pavilion top, Lin Zaiyasu felt a familiar aura. Yes, Kang Yuan Liu. This sword was indeed done by Kang Yuan Liu. This 8th elite of the Kang Yuan 13 elite seemed to play a deterrent role. In the Great Wilderness Dynasty, he did it. In the Demon Domain, he did it too. In front of the Zhen Heaven Pavilion, a group of officials was present. The leader was Zhen Heaven Pavilion Master, Lei Tianlin. He had just bid farewell to the 7th prince heading south with complex emotions, when he suddenly saw 2 people leisurely approaching. Upon seeing that young and familiar face, Lei Tianlin was stunned. Su Lin. Marquis Su, Lei Tianlin strode forward, followed by a bunch of officials. Lin Zaiyasu bowed. Mr. Lei, Happy New Spring to you all. Happy New Spring. Lei Tianlin returned the greet, and the officials also returned the greet. Lei Tianlin said, Is Marquis Su here to bid farewell to the 7th Highness? The 7th Highness has already set out. No matter, yesterday, I already bid farewell to His Highness, Lin Zaiyasu said. Today I come specially to wish Mr. Lei a Happy New Year. How could I deserve this? Lei Tianlin laughed heartily. Please, Marquis Su. Please, sir. The group proceeded directly into Zhen Heaven Pavilion. Lei Tianlin personally led them into the reception room, and after a round of pleasantries with all the officials, Lin Zaiyasu asked, Is Master Li of the military hall in the command room? Chapter 893, Chapter 705, Former Professor Lin Weiyang /3. Yes, Lei Tianlin sighed softly. Although it's a festival, the border war is tense. Master Li, as the commander of the 4 borders, has not left the command room for 5 days. Do you need him to come out and pay respects to the Marquis? How dare I, Lin Zaiyasu said. I will go to the command room to see him. I will accompany Marquis Su, Lei Tianlin said. The 3 proceeded to the command room together. Lei Tianlin, Lin Zaiyasu, Qing Ying. Inside the command room, there were over 10 people. The master of the military hall stood in front of the large map, frowning deeply. The national war of the 4 borders was something he had never encountered before. Being personally appointed by His Majesty as the commander, the pressure was immense. In typical wars, a commander needs to be on the front lines personally. But Zhen Heaven Pavilion is different. Zhen Heaven Pavilion has the whole domain mountain and river map. In front of the map, The situation faced by each army is conveyed through military flags. Being in front of the map is exactly the same as being on the front lines. Therefore, this commander of the three armies has remained in front of the map, not leaving for 5 days and nights. The situation is quite grim. All four borders are in peril. Last night, the Northern Territory launched a large-scale attack again. The blood and flesh flying on the battlefield was so tragic that even those thousands of miles away could empathize. At this time, the subordinate reported, "Mr. Lei, Marquis Zui has arrived." Mr. Lei can still endure it. He's been coming every day during this period. But Marquis Zui, Li Yafu's heart suddenly raced. Only he knew this was his son-in-law after all. The genuine kind. His daughter had such a difficult barrier, but he broke through it. This breakthrough made him an authentic son-in-law. Today is the second day of the new year, the traditional day for sons-in-law to visit their in-laws. Is this convenient son-in-law here to pay respects to me as his father-in-law? For a moment, this master of the military hall's mind shifted from the complex and ever-changing battlefield to the mundane social customs. Mr. Lei, Marquis, all 10+ people in the command room saluted simultaneously. Li Yafu also bowed in salute. Lin Zaiasu returned the gesture to everyone. Master Li, in this war among the four nations, I originally should have also participated, but I just returned yesterday and missed the troops' departure. Therefore, I prepared a batch of strategic materials to hand to the master for deployment. He waved his hand gently. Qing Ying presented a package. Li Yafu accepted it and slowly opened it. Upon opening, his heart jumped violently. The package was full of array crystals, and they were engraved with extremely profound patterns. Could this be? Was this the battlefield divine artifact he used to consistently win while in Jiangnan? This is, his voice was full of excitement. These are the array crystals of the heavenly yin-yang chaos array that I used several times during my campaign in Jiangnan. Each set has 36 sticks, totaling 3,600 sticks here, precisely 100 sets. The array masters of Zhen Heaven Pavilion naturally know how to apply them. Everyone in the command room was excited. Li Yafu's heart was instantly filled with immense joy. The heavenly yin-yang chaos array, which earned godlike fame during the Jiangnan campaign. Who in Zhen Heaven Pavilion wouldn't know of it? After the Zhen Heaven Pavilion army returned to the capital, the master of the array hall came to the army to thoroughly understand this heaven-defying array and prepared to visit Marquis Zui at an opportune time. Even if the knowledge wasn't passed lightly, gaining advice would still allow these array masters to develop a similar heaven-defying divine artifact. Unfortunately, Marquis Zui left the Marquis mansion the day after returning to the capital. He disappeared for over a month. The cruel national war began, and he did not return, leading to a sense of loss in Zhen Heaven Pavilion. But today he came, directly bringing out 100 sets. 100 sets of already engraved heavenly yin-yang chaos arrays will be distributed via special courier to the frontline troops, resulting in what immense military results. Lei Tianlin bowed deeply. Even if Marquis Su does not participate in this battle, he is still the greatest contributor to this battle. On behalf of all the warriors of Zhen Heaven Pavilion, I thank Marquis Su. Thank you, Marquis. Everyone bowed simultaneously. No need for such excess, gentlemen. The border war concerns the Great Wilderness Dynasty and the people of the Great Wilderness, and how can I, as a member of the Great Wilderness, stand idly by? Since I have urgent tasks at present and cannot go to the border, I offer this array to assist my comrades. After the Lantern Festival, I will also go to Lanzhou. That is excellent. Li Yafu's genuine smile appeared. His daughter was in Lanzhou. If his convenient son-in-law didn't go, as a father-in-law, he'd feel a bit disappointed. Now he clearly stated he would go. With urgent tasks at hand, he distributed 100 sets of the array in advance. This is helping his daughter, and also helping this father-in-law in the most effective way. Great. Worthy of being the son-in-law chosen after 36 years by his daughter. Then I shall not disturb the gentlemen in their military endeavors. Lin Zaiasu said, "Farewell." Farewell, Marquis. The entire atmosphere in the command room became completely animated. Out of the command room, Lei Tianlin's heart seemed to fully revive, his smile unreserved. "Marquis Su, please do stay for a meal at my Zhen Heaven Pavilion today. This official must toast Marquis Su." This was the most sincere invitation from this first-grade official. But Lin Zaiasu gently shook his head. I appreciate the kind offer, but I came today for another matter. What other matters does Marquis Su have? Please instruct freely. I need to meet someone. Whom? Your pavilion's Xin Hall 4th Department's Deputy Director, Lin Weiyang. Lin Weiyang, Lei Tianlin said, are you acquainted with him? We are not acquainted, but one must start somewhere to become acquainted. Lin Zaiasu said, please point me in the right direction, and I will visit him alone. Marquis Su visiting him. Shouldn't he come to visit Marquis Su? Lei Tianlin said. Chapter 894, Chapter 705, Lin Weiyang, Former Professor, Part 4. Mr. Lei, this person is not a simple character. Don't judge him with the usual bureaucratic etiquette. Lei Tianlin hesitated for a moment. All right. Zhen Heaven Pavilion, Xin Hall. The places concerning intelligence are always particularly secretive. Zhen Heaven Pavilion is especially so. Xin Hall is behind the main gate of Zhen Heaven Pavilion. Once the main gate opens, the peaks behind it present themselves in unison. These peaks are sealed by a great array, and ordinary people cannot see them from the outside. Those inside wanting to exit must also use the main gate. This includes the military and all other major halls like the Cultivation Hall, Buddhist Hall, Taoist Hall, and Confucian Hall. Lei Tianlin halted at the main gate. Qing Ying also stopped at the main gate. Lin Zaiasu alone entered the inner hall of Zhen Heaven Pavilion, moved a step, soared into the sky, and landed atop Xin Hall. Xin Hall had long received the pavilion master's instructions, and the hall master bowed to welcome him. After 10 breaths, Lin Zaiasu appeared before a small courtyard. This courtyard was ancient and elegant. Inside this courtyard, there was a garden and also a pavilion. There were 2 people in the pavilion. One appeared to be in his 40s or 50s, graceful, with a calm and refined aura akin to that of a great scholar. The other was petite, standing no more than 4 feet tall, delicate and exquisite. Seeing the person, as he walked leisurely through the flower path, the relaxed demeanor of the 2 completely vanished. The middle-aged man rose gracefully, placing his hand on the table in front of him, where a cup of leftover tea rested. The surface of the tea rippled gently. There was no conversation, only eye contact. In an instant, countless words flowed through their gazes. Lin Zaiasu stepped onto the pavilion. As he took this step, the petite woman gently raised her hand. Outside the pavilion, a layer of thin silk appeared. It was a soundproof barrier, definitely not an ordinary soundproof barrier. Lin Zaiasu's gaze paused on her face for half a second, then shifted to the middle-aged man. Professor Lin, how have you been? Professor Lin. These 3 words do not exist in this world. The moment he spoke, it confirmed that the person before him was indeed the Professor Lin of yesteryear from Bai Shan residence, Lin Weiyang. Lin Weiyang took a deep breath. The day before yesterday, I visited your residence, but you were not back, so I couldn't verify whether the legendary Marquis Zui of Dahuang City was you, my old friend. You should have guessed it was me long ago, Lin Zaiasu laughed, simply because I left many clues for friends to reunite. You mean Heart Sutra, or Spring River Flower Moon Night, Burial Flower Song? Yes. Lin Weiyang sighed lightly. Who would have thought that the literary and even Buddhist path legends that astonished countless people in this world were merely clues you left for old comrades, indicating that you were in the Dahuang court? The chaos of the ancient wilderness needs a unification of hearts, a sincere collective effort. Everyone is groping along a solitary path, which doesn't favor forming a cohesive force, Lin Zaiasu said. So, after I gained a foothold, I immediately sent out the message, telling everyone where I was. Using the ancestral treasures of Daxia's traditional culture to send messages is indeed extraordinary and exquisite, but have you considered that this is a double-edged sword? Not everyone from that world is your comrade. The information you send to allies may also become clues for enemies to find you. The petite woman offered a cup of tea. Lin Zaiasu took the tea, smiled gently. That's why I said I sent this message only after I had secured my position. Today, have you already secured your position? Lin Weiyang asked. I suppose I have. Does His Majesty know your origin? Is it of no consequence? Lin Weiyang asked. Lin Zaiasu laughed. What do you think His Majesty values me for? Is it because I come from an ancient sect, or because I can accomplish tasks for him? Of course, Lin Weiyang understood this reasoning. Emperors value people for their talents and genuinely do not care about their origins. His origin from an ancient sect or from another world makes no difference to this king. In fact, coming from another world may make the king even more at ease, as at least there is no worry of collusion with ancient sects for nefarious purposes. However, this world has more than just a king. The most terrifying people are never the king himself. Lin Huayang exhaled lightly. Even if the topmost people know your origin, do you still not fear? The topmost? Are you referring to levels like Wandu sect, Heart Dao, or people like Kang Yuan? Lin Huayang's eyes flickered. Tell me about them all. If it refers to Kang Yuan, I don't care. Do you know why? Kang Yuan actually doesn't concern himself with where I come from, because even if I were 10 or 100 times stronger to them, I would still be an ant, and a soaring eagle doesn't care about which nest an ant on the ground comes from. What about Wandu sect and Heart Dao? Chapter 895. Chapter 706. Lin Huayang presents herself before the emperor. I never intended to hide anything from the Wandu sect, Lin Zaiasu said. Why? Because I need to let them know that everything they're about to face is because of their earlier invasion of Daxia. Lin Huayang was slightly shocked. You already have a plan against the Wandu sect. The Wandu sect was the primary sect that invaded the Great Xia realm in the early stages. They directly sank 101 to the seabed. How many compatriots lost their lives? How many sacrificed themselves on the South Sea border defense line? Their invasion caused so many Daxia families to be torn apart, homes destroyed, people perished. How could I let such a sect go? Therefore, after gaining a firm footing, I've already made plans against them. It is a top pyramid sect, one of the 6 paths and 9 gates. It's not like those scraps you removed when you went to Jiangnan. Indeed, that's why I waited until today to decide on the specific action time. When? After the Lantern Festival. Where? Lanzhou. Lin Huayang let out a long breath. Your answer reassures me, but also disappoints me. Oh? What reassures me is that I see Lin Zaiasu, whose original intentions haven't changed, and I see an old friend being honest with me. Lin Huayang said, but do you know where the disappointment lies? Please enlighten me. Lin Huayang sighed. In a strategic arena, don't be too honest, especially for major plans. Don't easily trust others. Lin Zaiasu smiled. I haven't easily trusted others. The only person I trust is you. Lin Huayang finally smiled. Shall we drink a cup using tea in place of wine? There's already wine. Why use tea in its place? Lin Zaiasu raised a hand, and a wine bottle appeared in his palm. Dreamland Spring. From that world came the spirit. From that world came the old friend. With a gentle clink of glasses, the fragrance of wine overflowed. A sip enters, the taste of the homeland. Don't let old friends remind you of the old country. Try new fire with new tea. Have a cup of tea I brought from my homeland, and let's discuss a new topic. Lin Huayang raised a hand and poured Lin Zaiasu a cup of new tea. This cup of tea is indeed what Lin Huayang brought from that world, and it is the tea from Lin Zaiasu's hometown, Xianglu Yunwu. Still the taste of the hometown. Lin Zaiasu gently savored a sip. Go ahead. You've mentioned the Wandu sect just now. Now it's time for the mental path or heart Dao. Lin Huayang said, for this super giant, what are your thoughts? I originally had plans too, but now I've changed my mind. Lin Zaiasu said, I'm more willing to hear what the professor thinks. Why change your mind? Because I believe the professor is more suited to deal with them, Lin Zaiasu said. Just because I raided 6 of their pavilions, Lin Huayang asked. Not just that, but also because the professor can lay the foundation in this realm through a major action, so that the two of us can once again stand side by side in this great calamity and create an era we want. Lin Huayang slowly lifted his head, quietly gazing at him. You hope for me to rise to a height like yours. That's why you want to gift me an achievement. Yes. What kind of achievement? Completely disrupt Heart Dao's deployments, making Heart Dao and mental path unacceptable in the world. Lin Huayang took a deep breath. Let me see the chips in your hand. Lin Zaiasu extended his hand. In his hand was a book. The book was very new, with the fragrance of ink still present. Lin Huayang opened it. The records inside were so astonishing. In the ancient desolate calendar year 3865, on the first day of April, Heartpath activated Yan Country's seed change plan. The Saint Heir of Heartpath had an affair with East River Liu family, leading to her pregnancy, helping her enter the palace as a concubine. In the year 3866, On the 3rd day of August, the prince was born. That year the eldest prince was purged. Within 11 years all other princes were completely removed, and the remnant of Heartpath's Saint Heir succeeded as monarch. In the year 3886, on June 17, fate was activated to force King Yan to recognize his roots and ancestry, and Yan country was subdued. Lin Huayang suddenly raised his head. The monarch of Yan country is actually the remnant of Heartpath. There are many such incidents, Lin Zaiasu said. Heartpath realistically reenacts various scenarios. Yan country is the most thorough, directly replacing the emperor with their own people. Similar situations exist in Chu country, Yi country, yet this isn't the most terrifying part. The most terrifying part is their penetration into major sects. The sects recorded in the latter part of this book, Heavenly Capital, Underworld, Chu and Wang are all involved, and so far only Kangyuan isn't recorded. Lin Huayang's back was drenched with sweat. Such records must be top secret among secrets. Where did you get them? Part of it came from Desolate Capital Heart Pavilion. Part of it was deduced by connecting various pieces of information. And even a part was obtained by refining the primordial spirit of Heart Sect Elder. Lin Zaiasu said, these top-secret records from Heart Pavilion were destroyed by Heartpath's Xuan Kong using a primordial spirit secret technique on that day. But what they didn't know was, before the real showdown with Heart Pavilion, I had already infiltrated their top-level archive room through espionage, and I have seen all these records. All right, I don't doubt your methods, Lin Huayang said. You're handing these records to me, hoping I will present them to your majesty, right? Yes. The Great Wilderness is currently in fierce battle with the 4 countries. During national war, all means are exhausted. Knowing these secrets, your majesty will certainly disclose them, triggering a media war in the 4 countries and causing chaos among the enemies, Lin Huayang said. Yes. The media war among the 4 countries is ignited. The layout of Heart Path and Heart Dao in these countries will suffer great setbacks, and they will definitely retaliate against your majesty. Yes. Your majesty will feel immense pressure from Heart Path and Heart Dao, contemplating breakthrough strategies, and at this moment I will provide your majesty another batch of secrets, introducing the pressures from Heavenly Capital, Xuanwang, Underworld, and the other 5 paths, 8 gates into the chessboard, making Heart Path and Heart Dao the target of many, preoccupying them. Is that correct? Chapter 896, Chapter 706, Lin Huayang presents herself before the Emperor Part 2. Yes. And having done so much for your majesty, it's only natural that he would continually promote my position, eventually making me like you, entering the government from nothing and breaking through 10 levels in half a year. Lin Zaiasu smiled. That's why I say Professor Lin is truly someone who resonates with me. Lin Huayang sighed softly. I do wish to resonate with you, but there's something I can't quite understand. You clearly obtained this pile of information early on, and you clearly hope to climb the ranks quickly to gain a favorable position in the bureaucracy, yet you didn't use this information, choosing instead the much tougher route of going to Jiangnan, leaving me this shortcut. Is it truly because we share the same surname and family? Lin Zaiasu stopped smiling, staring at Lin Huayang. Lin Huayang also quietly looked at him. Yu Ying glanced at one, then the other, utterly bewildered. She was never a fool, but she seemed to have to admit that during the exchange between these two, her brain couldn't keep up with her ears. Just as she grasped a bit of understanding, new information quickly muddled her thoughts again. Professor Lin, there are 2 answers to this question. One is quite pleasant to hear, and the other is not so pleasant. Which one would you like to hear? The pleasant one, Lin Huayang replied. Lin Zaiasu said, I feel a strong affinity with the professor, and I greatly admire the professor's character. Lin Huayang's face showed an expression hard to describe, and the unpleasant one. Didn't you already choose to hear the pleasant one? Let's skip the unpleasant one, Lin Zaiasu said. Still, tell me otherwise. I might imagine something even more complicated, Lin Huayang said calmly. Lin Zaiasu sighed. The reason is actually quite simple. Revealing this information carries significant risk. As long as I, Lin Zaiasu, am useful, I'd rather not die if I can avoid it. With one sentence, Yu Ying's eyes widened. Lin Huayang glared at him fiercely. So, am I useless and expendable? Revolutionary work always entails sacrifices. In our grand operation, sacrifice is a normal option. If you were to sacrifice, I promise your name would be inscribed on the soaring dragon steel. Lin Huayang closed his eyes. Little Su, what day is it today? The second day of the Lunar New Year. Lin Huayang continued. In our world, if you visit someone's home on the second day of the Lunar New Year and curse them to die, and they chase you off with a stick, do you think that's normal? Lin Ziasu fluttered his eyes. Understood, I'm leaving. You don't need to chase me. Lin Ziasu exited directly. With a turn, his figure vanished. Lin Huayang quietly watched him. His stern face gradually relaxed, eventually revealing a trace of a smile. Teacher, you two talked for so long, I heard every word, understood every word, but when put together, it seems I heard a whole lot of nothing. Yu Ying fluttered her eyes, a trace of resentment in her voice. Lin Huayang laughed. This young man is truly clever, more clever than usual. Clever? He seems to give me a fast track to prominence, but in reality, he's testing. Testing what? Naturally, testing me, Lin Huayang said. From that world to this world, he's never truly trusted me. The six-eared left holder on my desk has ingrained too deep a prejudice against him. Yu Ying's face changed. He guessed your identity. Impossible, absolutely impossible, Lin Huayang said, but he ultimately suspects I am a member of the mental path or heart Dao. Yu Ying exhaled lightly. So, he gave you this heap of top-secret intelligence. If you were indeed with the mental path or heart Dao, it would be impossible for you to make this information public. Yes, if I were with the mental path or heart Dao, I would be using every means now to kill him to silence him. But he's wrong. The teacher would certainly make this information public. Indeed, Lin Huayang said, in 3 days I will request an audience with your majesty. Lin Ziasu and Qing Ying returned to the Marquis Mansion. After returning to the Marquis Mansion, Lin Ziasu sat down in the gauze pavilion. Marquis, did you meet this Lin Huayang? Qing Ying asked. I did. Is he really so extraordinary? Qing Ying asked. Lin Ziasu smiled. An ordinary person without any cultivation, yet he has a holder who became his loyal subordinate. Do you think that's extraordinary? Qing Ying's eyes widened. A holder. Unexpected, right? I didn't expect it at first either, Lin Ziasu said. This sentence he spoke truthfully. Yu Ying he had met before. In another world. While on a honeymoon in the South Sea with Ding Ryushui, setting up the trap for Lin Huayang to lure the Utopia Venerable Master, it was in that world he first met Yu Ying. At the time, he already sensed that Yu Ying was extraordinary. Ding Ryushui also knew Yu Ying was extraordinary. However, at most they considered Yu Ying as a typical template of an Enlightenment realm being who had fallen to the mortal world. In that day's world, the heavenly Tao had not brought changes. Though it greatly suppressed the Enlightenment realm, it merely prevented them from using their full power, not from living under the guise of an ultimate observing heaven status. But he never expected it. Yu Ying was actually not enlightenment but holding. The gap between enlightenment and holding, how should it be described? Roughly akin to the difference between a candlelight and the moon. Upon meeting Lin Huayang today, his sight has become incomparable to the past. He can clearly see that Yu Ying is a holder, cultivating rules of the dark classification. Yu Ying did not hide from him either, waving her hand lightly, crafted a standard holding realm sound insulation circle right in front of him. Knowing this, Lin Ziasu did not ask a single word about how Lin Huayang seized the Heart Pavilion. Chapter 897, Chapter 706, Lin Huayang's Debut Before the Emperor Part 3. He didn't need to ask, because the answer was already clear to him. 6 heart pavilions without the state of holding. In the face of the state of holding, they simply had no resistance. As for Lin Huayang, who possessed one of the sub-god 3 treasures, the moon lotus and his sub-god cultivation, which had always been above Lin Ziasu. That day, he hadn't fully seen through Lin Huayang's specific cultivation level, and even now he still couldn't see it clearly. He had marveled. He and those he encountered would generally adhere to a set rule. At first, Lin Ziasu regarded others as the 9 heavens immortal venerable, but soon, the distance between them closed, and he easily stepped on their heads. For example, the Blood Trace King of that day. For example, the Mad Blade of the Mad Blade sect. These were all figures he once viewed as towering above him, who now seemed insignificant. However, Lin Huayang and Yu Ying were different. Lin Ziasu's cultivation advanced rapidly. Upon entering this world, he successively crossed the major thresholds of body enlightenment, enlightenment of God, and enlightenment rules. His opponents initially reached the body enlightenment, but now, with a flick of his hand, he could kill those in the state of holding. His cultivation had long become vastly different, yet the gap between him and these two had not widened. What was his impression back then is still what it is now. Isn't it terrifying? Too terrifying. It was precisely for this reason that he set up such a test for Lin Weiyang. He truly suspected that Lin Weiyang was a person of the heart Tao or the mental path. Only with such profound paths and Taos could there be such people he couldn't understand. Qing Ying softly exhaled. Without cultivation but capable of holding the way, it is extremely illogical. Marquis, is there any possibility that this is only a ruse, or the situation is reversed? Perhaps everything is actually being led by the holding the way, and Lin Weiyang is merely used as a smokescreen. It must be said, Qing Ying was never a mere ornament. The situation she described did exist and was logical. How could a great power of Tao be manipulated by an ordinary person? Lin Ziasu shook his head gently. Impossible. Why? Lin Ziasu said, because the holding the way is a woman, and she has already been taken to bed by him countless times. A woman willing to go to bed with a man can only mean one thing: she truly admires him. Qing Ying was silent. Lin Ziasu glanced aside and saw her flushed face. My gosh. Lin Ziasu hurriedly explained. Qing Ying, don't misunderstand. This Marquis didn't mean it that way. Marquis, if you don't have any other instructions, Qing Ying will go into closed cultivation, Qing Ying said. Go ahead. Qing Ying's figure flickered and disappeared. With her gone, Lin Ziasu could also choose to go into closed cultivation. After all, in this world, he didn't have many official friends and didn't plan to visit those bureaucrats. Most of those officials were promoted by the former crown prince, held grudges against him, and were unlikely to come visit him. Very well, he remained a taboo marquis in official circles, best to shut the door and devote himself to cultivation. In cultivation, he also had many things to do. For instance, the blooming of the Tao seed of the heavenly Tao 7 techniques would keep him busy for a while. Upon returning from Jiangnan, his time-lost seed bloomed. While running an errand with Gu Suixin, his heart mirror always had the primordial spirit contemplating, understanding the chaos law and the sword of Kangyuan Liu. Even while singing and playing with the moon demon and bantering with Han Yan, the primordial spirit before the mirror remained diligently cultivating, which was the advantage of having dual souls. Now in closed cultivation, there was no need to keep one primordial spirit for daily use. He could deploy both simultaneously, contemplating both. No sooner said than done. Lin Ziasu sat cross-legged in his bedroom. The two primordial spirits began contemplating in tandem, each fulfilling its duties, one contemplating the life law, the other the reincarnation law. The life Tao seed and reincarnation Tao seed rotated before the heart mirror, the laws divided into left and right zones, analyzing simultaneously. And so time flows past the windows outside. The steps of the new year proceed from the second day of the first lunar month towards the Lantern Festival. On the 6th day of the first lunar month, something significant happened. The major event took place in the Deep Palace. Lin Weiyang, deputy director of Xin Hall at Zhen Heaven Pavilion, sought an audience with Your Majesty and presented a stack of papers. It was this stack of papers that Your Majesty viewed for a long time, his face ever-changing. Lin aching, from where have you obtained this news? Your Majesty's voice was extraordinarily gentle. Reporting to Your Majesty, this humble servant seized 6 heart pavilions, gathering a considerable amount of information from within. After integration, the 13 secrets on this stack of papers should suffice to repay the 4 nations, slightly alleviating the current frontier concerns, Lin Weiyang said. Your Majesty slowly nodded. Show everyone. As the voice fell, the imperial seal projected the 13 secrets on this stack of papers into the void through the imperial seal projection. Beneath, Minister of the Ministry of Justice Song Lifu and Zhen Heaven Pavilion Master Lei Tianlun were utterly shaken. The 13 secrets documented were all about the royal families of Yan, Chu, Yi, and the Kaiyuan country across the sea, and the content was extremely explosive. The most explosive among them was about Bei Yan. The emperor of Yan country was essentially the seed of the holy heir of the mental path. The sowing process was accurate to a specific day, and the operational chain was precise to a particular person, with an extremely high degree of credibility. Such secrets, once released, would instantly cause the royal family of Yan country to become a timeless scandal, and the royal family would fall into chaos. The imperial family would descend into chaos. As a dynasty that values bloodline heritage profoundly, how could they tolerate an alleged emperor without royal lineage on the throne? And in the other three countries, the actions of the mental path were equally unacceptable. The current frontline commander of Yi country was a person from the mental path. The crown prince of Kaiyuan country was a person of the mental path. The prime minister and the minister of war of Chu country were all people of the mental path. Chapter 898, Chapter 706, Lin Huayang's Court Appearance Part 4. Not just a mere assertion, those who colluded with the mental path have specific examples. Your Majesty, Lei Tianlin said, if this secret intelligence is released, the four nations will surely be thrown into chaos. Indeed, in that case, the pressure on our borders will be greatly reduced, Song Lifu said. In my humble opinion, this should be released immediately. What does Zhou Aking think? His Majesty glanced at another person below, first-rank Dr. Zhou He. Zhou He shuddered slightly and bowed deeply. Your Majesty, in my humble opinion, since ancient times, matters involving privacy have often been spread with distortions. If this secret intelligence is true, Your Majesty's public release would indeed be a brilliant strategy to withdraw forces. However, if it is not true, releasing it blindly would instead tarnish the name of our great wilderness royal family, and people would say the great wilderness royal family fabricates secrets of other nations with malicious intent, damaging Your Majesty's reputation and the prestige of the great wilderness dynasty. Therefore, I believe a thorough verification is required, and it must not be released blindly. His words were indeed reasonable and justifiable. At least from the standpoint of righteousness, there's no flaw to be found. It's not that releasing it is prohibited, but that caution is necessary. First, verify whether it's true, then proceed with subsequent actions. If an unsubstantiated message is blindly released, it would indeed damage the royal family's face, and everyone would say the great wilderness dynasty is immature and base, fabricating a foreign emperor's privacy and smearing innocence. Such actions would disgrace anyone, let alone the king of a great nation. Lei Tianlin and Song Lifu exchanged a glance, both seeing something peculiar in each other's eyes. Zhou He has been quite restrained lately. However, his actions are increasingly cautious, and every word leaves no room for criticism, yet he always manages to prevent them from accomplishing what they intend. Like the matter at hand. He speaks reasonably, yet his ideas are not actionable. When a secret is to be announced, he demands verification, but how is that to be done? Verifying an emperor's identity isn't something you can just do at will. In fact, it's totally unfeasible, but he uses this as an excuse for non-release. The reason is unassailable, but it prevents you from accomplishing anything. His Majesty stared at this seemingly compliant first-rank doctor, his mind filled with mixed thoughts. This doctor was once a prominent official under the former crown prince. His relationship with the former crown prince is extraordinary. He does not wish for this first-grade official to occupy the court's conspicuous position for long, especially since he just executed the families of Song Yunkang's paternal lineage. Zhou He is Song Yunkang's father-in-law. The paternal lineage's execution did not affect Zhou He, but Zhou He holds grievances over his son-in-law's death. This intensified His Majesty's desire to take him down. However, the court is the court. It's not easy to take down a first-grade official, is it? At this moment, Lin Huayang spoke. Your Majesty, I believe Lord Zhou's words hold merit. It is indeed inappropriate for the Dahuang court to release this message without verification. His Majesty frowned slightly. You also think it's inappropriate? Then why the hell are you showing it to me? But then Lin Huayang continued. However, facts are facts. Once the wind is let loose, various verifications will naturally arise. I believe that it is unnecessary for our great wilderness dynasty to release this message. Just secretly arrange for a few people to paste this message throughout the streets and alleys of the four nations, imperial cities overnight in the form of large character posters. This will naturally trigger the furor we desire, and our great wilderness royal family can watch the drama unfold from the sidelines. So why unnecessarily get ourselves embroiled in the quagmire of verification? This served as a direct counter to Zhou He. It directly framed verification as a quagmire. Chapter 899, Chapter 707, Hu Jai arrives as promised. Wonderful, Lei Tianlin applauded. Mr. Lin's strategy is truly ingenious. Song Lifu stepped forward. This is indeed the most secure method. Zhou He slowly shook his head. As an elder minister, I believe that a great nation should be upright, a gentleman should be open and honest. How can we use such despicable means to tarnish a person's innocence? You must know, if this door is open, nations will emulate each other. You can defame another's reputation, just as another can defame ours. In this way, filth accumulates layer upon layer, leading to the ill consequences of this evil strategy. 1,000 years from now, the great wilderness dynasty will be stained. Regardless, this strategy is short-term effective, but it must not be pursued. His demeanor was exceedingly grave. His arguments were also quite rigorous. Indeed, even your majesty was slightly moved. In the way of strategies, it is not the case that if something works well, it must be used. Some strategies achieve temporary victory but leave an eternal stain of infamy, for they destroy the fundamental order. As Joe stated, you could use a public censure poster to plunge the 4 royal courts into internal chaos. Others could use the same method to make the great wilderness dynasty a mess. Who is free from scandal? Lin Huayang slowly lifted his head. Lord Joe, could it be that you repeatedly obstruct the implementation of this strategy, because you foresee that the mental path you serve will bear an unbearable burden because of it? Upon these words, Joe He's face darkened abruptly. Insolent, you dare. Lin Huayang interrupted directly. Lord Joe, let us not forget. Since I possess such secret scandals from 4 countries, naturally I also have records related to you. Who gifted you the 3,000 mu of good farmland in the southern capital, and for what purpose? How did you acquire the 40 million desert gold in your northern suburban warehouse? What is your second son doing in Chu country? Your 3rd daughter is pregnant. May I ask whose child it is? Joe He's mind seemed to explode like thunder, 4 blasts in succession. The farmland in the southern capital is managed by his personal follower, who never appeared in public. The desert gold in the northern suburban warehouse was inventoried earlier in the year, totaling 43 million. His second son has a close relationship with the prince in Chu country. His 3rd daughter, ostensibly married to a merchant from Dongzhou, is actually the mistress of an important figure from the mental path. All these are top secret. How did he know? How much more does he know? No matter how much he knows, revealing these 4 bombshells in front of your majesty, he's finished, because he truly knows the Achilles heel of your majesty needs money. Money? The national treasury was full last year, and the court enjoyed a prosperous year. But now, as the national war unfolds, battles at the 4 realms begin, and military expenses flow like water, your majesty is most concerned about money. The scoundrel, however, tells your majesty he has 40 million desert gold in the northern suburban warehouse. Your majesty's face suddenly darkened. Lin Huayang spread his hand, holding a piece of paper. Your majesty, I wish to impeach the left Grand Master Zhou He for embezzling national assets and colluding with foreign enemies. This paper has 10 major crimes listed. Your majesty only needs to have each verified, and the truth will be evident. Your majesty spoke. Present it. The Chief of Internal Affairs took the paper and handed it to your majesty. With one glance, your majesty's face darkened like dripping ink. He raised his hand, flinging the paper toward Zhou He. Look for yourself. Zhou He took the paper, his hands shaking, and knelt with a thud. Your majesty, this old minister. Your majesty raised his hand sharply. In light of your years of hard work, I will give you a chance. Confess, and your family's properties will be confiscated as punishment. If you do not confess and it is finally proven, your entire clan will be executed. Zhou He trembled all over. Minute by minute passed. At last Zhou He desperately kowtowed. This old minister confesses, this old minister confesses. Imperial decree. Your majesty slowly lowered his head. Present. Decree issued. The left Grand Master Zhou He, for the embezzlement of an enormous sum of national assets, is stripped of his position and must leave the capital within 3 days. All household assets are to be entirely confiscated. As commanded. Decree issued. Lin Huayang of the Zhen Heaven Pavilion's Xin Hall, for meritorious exposure of Zhou He, is promoted to the 4th rank as Imperial Silver Envoy. This subject thanks your majesty for the grand favor. Lin Huayang bowed with his head touching the ground. Your majesty's gaze slowly moved toward him. Lin aching, you will be responsible for implementing your proposed plan. Execute it quickly. Yes. Your majesty rose. With a loud call, the Chief of Internal Affairs announced, Your Majesty departs. Lei Tianlun and Song Lifu stood to the sides, respectfully sending off your majesty. After your majesty left, they also descended the steps of Wenling Hall, exiting the palace gates toward their respective dragon horse carriages. Master Song, are you returning home or heading to the Ministry of Justice? Lei Tianlun asked. Today is only the 6th. The offices have not formally opened. Do you, Mr. Lei, have any plans? The weather is fine. Should we venture out for an excursion? Lei Tianlun suggested. With Mr. Lei's refined interest, how can I refuse? The two of them boarded the dragon carriage and headed toward Mirror Lake. Today at Mirror Lake, the early spring scenery was already evident. Willows drooped low, plum blossoms just opened. The grass-green embankment mirrored like a mirror. Master Song, what do you make of today's events? Lei Tianlun asked. The two grand elders of the court, both second-rank officials of course, wouldn't go on an excursion for no reason. They were merely sharing some views. Generally, there weren't many people in the court who communicated with Song Lifu, but Lei Tianlun was quite close to him now, mainly because of Lin Xiaosu's mission to Jiangnan. He went to Jiangnan with a town-level team under Lei Tianlun's command. This bound Lei Tianlun to his mission to Jiangnan. Moreover, Song Lifu played a vital role in his mission to Jiangnan, leading to the two grand elders of the court beginning to be close. And they both have become favorites around your majesty. Song Lifu said, are we considering the events or the people? Chapter 900, Chapter 707, Hu Jai arrives as promised /2. His answer was clever. Lei Tianlun said, make things happen because of people, trace people because of things. What does Master Song think of the person Lin Weiyang? Song Lifu gently exhaled. This person is very much like Marquis Su. Really? Lei Tianlun said. In certain aspects very much alike, Song Lifu said. These two people always have contingency plans, set objectives, lock step by step, and never stop until they achieve their goals. Indeed, unplanned actions fail, planned actions succeed. These two are well versed in this way, but where do their differences lie? Lei Tianlun said. Song Lifu said, Marquis Su's strategies are open and grand, bright and magnificent, while this person's strategies are extremely malicious. Grand strategies elevate people and oneself, malicious strategies harm people and oneself, Lei Tianlun said. This child's path is difficult to last. Song Lifu looked up at the lake, gently exhaled. This person can pacify the 6 cabinets. He is certainly not a brainless person. You and I can see the after effects of malicious schemes. He can see them too, but why must he act this way? Behind them, a carriage passed by. On the carriage, Lin Weiyang slightly closed his eyes, as if he were sitting in another world with his little car. Yu Ying drove the carriage. Her gaze swept past the two officials by the lakeside. Those two are discussing matters there. Lin Weiyang smiled slightly. Song Lifu is probably advising my immediate superior not to get too close to me. Why, teacher? You just got promoted and became the Imperial Silver Envoy before your majesty. You should normally be a popular figure with officials flocking to you, right? Yu Ying was puzzled. Lin Weiyang sighed. This is the aftermath of malicious schemes. In our world, there's the white coats crossing the river strategy. On the level of strategy, it's absolutely good, but why over 1,000 years it's a negative image? Simply because this poisonous scheme destroyed the ecosystem, causing people to no longer trust each other. And the series of strategies I implemented today are essentially the same as the white coats crossing the river. Yu Ying's eyes widened suddenly, but she didn't speak. Lin Weiyang said, I can gather the imperial family's top-secret scandals from 4 countries. I can casually produce the top-secret evidence of Zhou He's crimes, easily taking down a first-grade official. Think about how bad this impact could be. Not to mention high officials avoiding me like the plague. Even your majesty himself is deeply apprehensive. Do you know why he appointed me as the Imperial Silver Envoy? Only because the duty of the Imperial Silver Envoy is to report directly to your majesty on any matter, not to inform others. Your majesty uses this method to prevent me from leaking the dynasty scandals. Yu Ying took a deep breath. Your majesty is so defensive toward the teacher, but why? Why not get rid of the teacher? Of course, because I am useful, Lin Weiyang said. An emperor uses people first for their usefulness. I can solve his most difficult problems, of course. He can't afford to kill me. But you must believe as soon as his problems aren't that big, he will first make a move to kill me. I suddenly have a shift in perspective. Yu Ying said, that boy Lin gave you such a powerful tool, but it's actually digging a pit for the teacher. She finally realized. Why did Lin Xiaosu play this public opinion card himself? Because this public opinion card is a poisonous card. Whoever plays it becomes the enemy of all. That boy gave the teacher two answers that day. One answer was pleasant. The teacher has good character, he admires greatly, so he genuinely helps the teacher. This talk is obviously nonsense. The other answer was not pleasant. Lin Ziyasu's life is useful, cannot die, the teacher is older, may as well perish. Damn, this turns out to be the truth. What she couldn't understand was how the teacher, such a smart person, jumped into such a deep pit. Lin Huayang laughed. Who in the world doesn't dig a pit for others? The pits in the world vary from person to person. You think this is a pit for me, all right, I also admit it is a pit. But then when weighing two evils, choose the lesser. When weighing two benefits, choose the greater. He borrows my power, I borrow his power. As for the future, let's see who is more skilled. This he. Yu Ying admitted she didn't understand. Referring to your majesty. Or Lin Ziyasu. The great wilderness dynasty is caused by Lin Huayang to stir up a not too small wave. Evidence shows that this wave will also cross borders, causing quite a stir in the four capitals. Yet this world is astonishingly large. There are always places that are quiet, such as crossing Dragon Gate. Crossing Dragon Gate, the crossing leading to Dragon Gate. It used to be just the exit of a huge canyon, facing external vastness. But 2,700 years ago, the re-emergence of Dragon Gate, thought to have vanished from Earth, came into legend. This passage leading to Dragon Gate became the only route for people to see the ancient true dragon. More and more people began to arrive. Today is the 10th day of the first month. Two women quietly stood on the hillside. Their attire was no different from the women of this world, but they didn't belong to this world. They were the two heavenly kings of Qianlong, Blue Demon and Miao Yin. Gazing far into the expanses of crossing Dragon Gate, one knows how small the heavens and earth are. Looking back over thousands of miles of mountains, the way back is unknown. Blue Demon gently exhaled. Miao Yin, I still think you shouldn't choose Dragon Gate, you should choose Heavenly Capital. After all, Heavenly Capital is the orthodox place to enter Tao through music. Heavenly Capital enters Tao through music. Heavenly Capital has played music splendidly. On that path I have no advantage. However, since I heard the ancient dragons chant, I must try. Miao Yin Heavenly King said. Because the ancient dragons chant is the true bloodline sound. Chapter 901, Chapter 707, Hu Jai arrives as promised, Part 3. Yes, my bloodline has formed my sound Tao. This path is not about pushing musical skills to the limit, but about creating a true fusion between music theory and bloodline. My subsonic is the only reliance I have entered this realm with, and I must find a direction for its development. Miao Yin said, and you? Has my goal changed? Blue Demon hesitated for a long time. Are you talking about what we heard yesterday? Yes, the Spring River Flower Moon Night has appeared. The Burial Flower Song has appeared. Great Wilderness Snow Robe Marquis Su Lin. Even his name is so perfunctory. I basically concluded that this is a signal from him to us. Do you really not want to go back to his side? Blue Demon said, saying I don't miss him would definitely be a lie, but the current situation is special. What he lacks is not a former comrade by his side, but joint efforts. I will still choose Qing sect. After all, the Qing sect is the birthplace of miracles, and with only 2 years left until the apocalypse, we desperately need a miracle. This statement deeply resonated with Miao Yin Heavenly King. Upon entering this realm, she realized how vast the world is, and how high worldly experts can be. In the past, they thought that the enlightenment realm was the ceiling on the cultivation path, but here it's as common as vegetables. The time is too tight, the task too heavy, the future too indescribable. At the normal pace of cultivation, it is impossible to make a difference in the apocalypse in 2 years. They have also become somewhat superstitious. A miracle is needed. Among the 19 top forces, the Qing sect is the most mysterious. Some say that the Qing sect is actually an azure lantern left in the mortal world by the heavenly Tao, specifically for creating miracles. This is what Blue Demon chose. Originally, she should have chosen the ancient sect, as her body could magnify and resonate with the divine magic lineage of the ancient sect. However, after seeing the records related to the ancient sect, she felt that it was impossible to rise in just over 2 years upon entering the ancient sect. Thus, she changed her direction. Everything was originally well planned. But yesterday in the restaurant, she inadvertently heard the tune of the Burial Flower Song. The deeds of Great Wilderness Snow Robe Marquis also spread from there, giving them the greatest flights of fancy. Miao Yin smiled gently. You're not going back to his side, aren't you afraid he'll find women? In my opinion, he absolutely cannot do without women. Blue Demon glanced at her. Are you still worried about this at such a time? Doesn't he have a bunch of women in that world? I haven't even ranked as a mistress and you didn't even rank as the fourth. You're worried he'll find women, I'm worried he won't. You have no idea what it's like to be with him. Once you're with him, you'll definitely be devoted to helping him. I'm speaking the truth. Miao Yin silently looked at her for a long time, saying nothing, just speechless. The wheel of time turns unhurriedly. And in a flash, it is already the 14th of the first month. The Marquis Mansion has put in a lot of effort, planning to celebrate a lively and festive lantern festival for the family head. After all, this family head treats the servants too well, and all the servants want to do something for the family head. The family head was still running around outside on New Year's Eve, and everyone couldn't do much. They need to show some effort for the upcoming lantern festival. The lanterns have been bought back. A lot of red paper was purchased earlier and pasted on various windows over the past 10 days, some of which have also peeled off. Xiao Hong and Little Qing called the maids to cut more window flowers. The garden has been tidied up. There is a small debate in the kitchen about what kind of food should be prepared for the Marquis. Speaking of food, the Marquis Mansion really lacks nothing. The desert gold bestowed by your majesty is enough for the Marquis Mansion to live on for 10 years. Plus, after being titled Marquis, there's also an annual salary of 1,000 desert gold. An annual 1,000 desert gold in this world is absolutely a top-tier stipend. To put it simply, a reference for everyone. The outside fair maidens are 2 desert gold each. Buy as you wish. And the debate isn't even about the food purchased with Marquis Mansion's public funds, but about the wild game sent by Little Qing's family. Little Qing is also descended from officials. Her family got into trouble, the men went to prison, and the women were taken into the Imperial Music Bureau. Originally, she was wholeheartedly thinking about whether there was an opportunity to serve the family head and plead for help. But there was no immediate chance. Later, when she encountered the neighboring princess consort visiting the mansion, Little Qing gathered her courage to mention it. Unexpectedly, the princess consort told her, "For such a trivial matter, don't bother your marquis. I'll have someone run an errand for you." As a result, Little Qing's parents were released. Her sisters also returned home from the Imperial Music Bureau. The same was true for Xiao Hong. They naturally attributed this favor to Lin Xiaosu. It's all for the face of the marquis. Without this divine and talented marquis, would any princess listen to them? Would they genuinely handle matters for them? As such, their families occasionally send things over, mostly fresh food, because the Marquis Mansion lacks nothing except a bit of novelty. Now Little Qing's family sent them a rabbit. The rabbit's eyes are red, its fur is white as silver, and it has a wound on its foot. Little Qing planned to slaughter it, but Xiao Hong couldn't bear to, finding it very cute. So a dispute arose. The world is ever-changing, and in just over 10 days, many things have indeed changed. Then Xiaosu finally opened his eyes. When he opened his eyes, it was like a ray of light cutting through the room, carrying a mysterious aura. From the second day of the first month to the 14th, for a full 12 days, he immersed himself in understanding the 2 great laws. On this day, he finally succeeded in breaking through. Chapter 902, Chapter 707, Hu Jai arrives as promised Part 4. The reincarnation law has bloomed the Tao flower. For a moment, his aura seemed different, as if he walked a step from reincarnation, carrying the vicissitudes of life. Fortunately, this spirit mechanism lasted just an instant. The life law, he also bloomed the Tao flower. The life law is the root of his cultivation. With the bloom of the Tao flower, his cultivation seems to have reached a higher level. Even more drastically, a strange aura suddenly enveloped his entire body. As he stepped out of the room beneath the platform, a half-bloomed plum blossom suddenly burst open. Qing Ying stepped in front of him. Lin Xiaosu gazed at her, a slight thump in his heart. "Qing Ying, you've broken through to the enlightenment realm." "Yes," Qing Ying said. Marquis noticed it. "That's right, in the future when we go out, we can fly side by side, it will be much easier." Suddenly his voice halted, his gaze turned skyward, his expression a bit peculiar. Qing Ying looked up and saw the celestial phenomenon. A speck of black, a speck of white. The black spot rose from above the heavens, the white spot bloomed before them. With a blink of an eye, a woman stood elegantly before her. What kind of woman was this? Skin as white as jade, tender as a flower bud, brows like distant mountains, eyes like a spring river, lips a dot of vermilion, full and alluring. Her face Qing Ying recognized. Cousin, Qing Ying bowed deeply, searching through distant memories for this face. Yes, the visitor is Kinkyu Hujai. On that day, she visited the Marquis mansion. Lin Ziasu introduced her to Qing Ying as his cousin. Qing Ying prepared a bedroom for this cousin, but alas, she did not stay. Later, Fu Fu lived there. Cousin, you're here. Lin Ziasu smiled happily. Hujai also smiled sweetly. You promised in person that you would accompany me to watch the lanterns tomorrow. Lin Ziasu also smiled. You also promised in person that after watching the lanterns, you would accompany me in Jianghu. Hujai gave him a sidelong glance. I knew it wouldn't be that easy. Sure enough, you're hoping I'll accompany you in Jianghu. Qing Ying, go and ask them to prepare some wine and dishes. I want to have a drink with my cousin. Yes, Marquis. Qing Ying left. Only the two of them remained on the platform. Hujai's gaze slowly returned from Qing Ying's departing figure. When I came here, you were Marquis yet, just a fifth-rank inspection envoy. Back then you hadn't formally entered the holding the way. Lin Ziasu chuckled lightly. Times urge people to move forward, years make people age, don't they? Back then I hadn't entered holding the way, and you hadn't entered the enlightenment realm. Now you can slash through enlightenment rules with one sword. Hujai's voice suddenly paused. Her gaze suddenly turned to the courtyard entrance. Over there in the courtyard, two girls came running. It was little Qing and Zio Hong. Little Qing was holding a white rabbit. Marquis, do you like to eat rabbit meat? Marquis, little Qing is so cruel, insisting on stewing this rabbit for Marquis. This rabbit is so cute, surely the Marquis wouldn't be able to do it, right? Zio Hong called. These two girls, after unshackling, were very lively. They knew their Marquis didn't like servants showing rigid respect, preferring a relaxed and lively atmosphere, so they set the example by being very open in front of Lin Ziasu. Lin Ziasu stared at the rabbit. The rabbit also seemed to be staring at him. Hujai's voice came through, a very strange aura, seemingly out of sync with the spirit mechanism of this heavenly Tao. Lin Ziasu's voice responded, Earthcore strange race aura but not pure, there is another aura at the wound on its left forelimb. Hujai sensed it surprised, demonic chi, demon clan's aura. Demonic chi? Lin Ziasu was slightly startled. The Earthcore strange race aura is unfamiliar to many, but extremely familiar to him, because he lived in Bridge Realm for several months. In the Bridge Realm, almost all are Earthcore strange race bloodline inheritances. This aura out of sync with heavenly Tao, he was very familiar with. But demonic chi, he was rather unfamiliar because he hadn't encountered the demon clan of this world. Yet Hujai could sense it. Capitulo 903, Chapter 708, Earthcore Dai Ting. Hujai said, this rabbit is unusual, keep it for research. Lin Ziasu spoke, Kinger, where did this rabbit come from? It was occasionally caught by my family in Yin Chuan, specially sent to Marquis Mansion last year for the Marquis's New Year gift. Thank your family for me, Lin Ziasu said. Give me the rabbit. Stewing is unnecessary, let me keep it as a pet. Zio Hong was pleased. I told you, the Marquis is such a kind person. How could you let him eat such a cute bunny? Kinger glanced sideways at her. So I'm the bad person here. Didn't say you were bad. You just occasionally do some little bad things. Lin Ziasu laughed, took the little white rabbit from Kinger's hands and waved. Go down, the food and drink can be casual. No need to prepare deliberately, my cousin is not an outsider. Yes, the two girls went down. All were happy. Kinger's happiness was that the rabbit given by her family, although it didn't end up on the Marquis's dining table, was evidently quite liked by him. Hunger's happiness was simply uncomplicated. She felt the rabbit was so adorable, really couldn't bear to make it into a dish, and having the Marquis keep it was the best. Lin Ziasu gently stroked the rabbit in his arms, fully sure. This is not a rabbit. This is a very magical exotic beast from the earth core, called Dai Ting. Dai Ting is recorded in the Buddhist scripture, rumored to have one residing under the womb of the earth bodhisattva. Dai Ting can hear others' inner voices. This rumor is true. However, it is not complete. Complete information shows that Dai Ting is an earth core strange beast. In the earth Tao it is Dai Ting, but if it enters the heavenly Tao, it transforms. The transformed species are not fixed. It could be a rabbit, a butterfly, or a white dove. all shedding ferocity and choosing gentle species. The Taoist book explains that Dai Ting steals the heavenly mechanism, harms the harmony of the heavens, claws crush evil spirits, revealing ferocity. Therefore, at the end of each reincarnation, it acts kindly, balance good and evil, complementing them to complete the reincarnation road. However, there's a question he couldn't figure out. No matter how you say it, Dai Ting stands at the pinnacle of the Earth Core strange beast hierarchy. Even at the end of reincarnation, acting kindly as a harmless rabbit, it still possesses great divine power. How could it be caught by Little Ching's family as a rabbit? His divine sense concentrated on its left leg, and upon this focus, Lin Zaiasu was shocked. Though this demonic chi was already very faint, its level was unimaginable. Demonic chi intrusion caused it to lose great divine power. Who heard it? Lin Zaiasu stared at its left forelimb, time-space reversal. This reversal spanned instantly 10 years. In 10 years, it had been roaming the forest, looking the same as before, but 10 years ago, on a dark night, he finally saw a black copper ring on its left forelimb. On that copper ring was a bizarre pattern. Each pattern seemed alive, twisting like snakes, extremely eerie. On that night, the rabbit gnawed off its leg, fleeing. The demon ring fell into the abyss. Finished researching. Is it better braised or stewed? Hu Jai patted the rabbit's back. The rabbit's back immediately arched. Lin Zaiasu laughed. Little bunny is scared, she's teasing you. Hu Jai laughed. I'm not scaring it. I just want to see if it can understand human speech. Now confirmed, it's indeed an exotic beast, able to understand human words. This girl, this experienced girl appears to be more than a pretty face. She has intelligence too. Not bad. Hu Jai asked, one more question, can you speak? This time the rabbit glared at her, silent. Silent, how can we understand? You dignified exotic beast, why were you captured and used as a snack by an ordinary family? Hu Jai also glared at it. This I can explain. Lin Zaiasu said, it has demonic chi invading it. This leg originally had a demon ring locked on it. Perhaps it gnawed away the binding ring itself, escaping. But because the demonic chi remained, it couldn't apply its beast's divine skills, thus falling into ordinary hunter's hands. The white rabbit's gaze shifted over, settling on Lin Zaiasu's face, looking intently. Hu Jai stated, what's contrary to the heavenly Tao carries many taboos. No need to rush to eliminate the demonic chi and restore its divine power. It's not suitable for you to keep. Give it to me. Hu Jai directly reached out, took the rabbit. If just wanting this rabbit seems impolite, but she clarified her intentions, Lin Zaiasu had to realize her goodwill. On the cultivation path, many taboos exist. Great Tao conflict is a major taboo for cultivators. In the heavenly Tao world, if you possess Earth Tao items, the heavenly Tao dislikes it. At best, it reduces your heavenly Tao opportunities, making breakthrough challenges tougher since breaking through cultivation barriers is mysterious and mystical in nature. At worst, it brings down heavenly punishment and heavenly execution. Only by entering the realm of holding the way can influence be avoided or reduced. Lin Zaiasu hasn't broken into the realm of holding the way yet, unable to carry the item with him. Hu Jai is different. She's already holding the way, negligible impact. Lin Zaiasu hesitated slightly, didn't object. Hu Jai didn't know the rabbit's true origins, but the time to expel demonic chi wasn't right currently either. Fine, let it be a rabbit for some time, adding some earthly flavor to the fairy who's untouched by the world for 3,000 years. He tacitly agreed. Capitulo 904, Chapter 708, Dai Ting of the Earth Core, Part 2. Hu Jai had already started to busy herself over there. She pulled out a strand of her hair to bandage the rabbit's wound, and a miracle happened immediately. The bleeding from a wound that had lasted for 10 years finally stopped. The rabbit was clever. It stretched out its pink tongue and licked Hu Jai's palm to show gratitude. Hu Jai was delighted. During the welcoming banquet that followed, Hu Jai felt a bit restless. As night fell, the moonlight was so beautiful. Living next door to him, Hu Jai felt even more unsettled, a feeling she hadn't experienced in 3,000 years. This man next door had a mystic connection with her. She dared not revisit the mark left from the depths of her primordial spirit. She feared it would disrupt her Tao heart. Logically speaking, in such a state of mind, she shouldn't meet him again. However, for some reason, ever since promising to watch the lanterns together on the Lantern Festival, she has been counting the days, waiting for this promise to arrive. Arriving next to him today, she suddenly felt the day was no longer important. Perhaps what mattered was never the lanterns, but meeting him. The next day, the weather was clear. As the sun set, the busiest night of the Lantern Festival arrived. Linzaya Asu arrived outside Hujai's room, knocked on the door and said, "The moon is at the treetops and people meet after sunset. Cousin, let's go out to watch the lanterns." Hujai opened the door, gladly stepping out to accompany him. The plum blossoms bloomed. More tourists appeared around Mirror Lake. On the street, countless flower carts appeared. The flower carts in this era were essentially advertisements, but advertised women, not products. Every brothel and music workshop had set up flower carts. Totals Warren dressed festively on these carts, drawing the most direct attention from passers-by. In the music workshop, the finest musicians played the most pleasant tunes. This essentially is also a business. Aside from the brothel and music workshop, many affluent families also set up flower carts, placing their unmarried daughters on them, veiled in thin gauze, drawing the attention of the capital's young talents, advertising, "I have a daughter, young and blossoming. Those interested in proposing, act quickly." Before the brothels and music workshops, lanterns were everywhere. They came in various shapes. Some were round, some were square, some fish-shaped and some human-shaped. The lanterns infused the night with a festive atmosphere. The riddles under the lanterns attracted the focus of numerous people. Linzaya Asu and Hujai walked through the streets, increasingly relaxed amidst the crowd, guessing riddles, eating candied haw, appreciating the color of the willows by the lakeside, and enjoying the incredible music. For Linzaya Asu, this was a rare experience. It was even more special for Hujai. She had lived alone in deep mountains for 3,000 years in bitter cultivation, distant from human affairs. She hadn't told him this was her first time watching lanterns in 3,000 years, only the second time in her life. The last time she watched lanterns, she did so with her sister. That lantern festival was followed by the Mid-Autumn Festival, where she bid farewell to her sister on the North Tower, never to hear from her again. "Does that tower look like the North Tower in your drawing?" Linzaya Asu pointed to a nearby building. Hujai's gaze lifted. "It does look a bit like it. Want to go up and have a seat?" "Sure." Sitting atop the North Tower, the commotion below seemed distant, while the water of Mirror Lake and the large, round moon above seemed close. They sat on the tower top, watching from the moon in the sightlines of the people below. Reed leaves cover the sandbank, cold sands flow with shallow waters, 3,000 years to pass the North Tower again. Tying the boat by the willows is yet unsteady. How many days till mid-autumn again? The feathers break at the cliff's edge. Is the old friend still around? The old rivers and mountains are filled with new worries. To buy osmanthus and share wine, it will never be like youthful wanderings. Hujai softly recited the poem Linzaya Asu had left her with. Her heart surged with tides of emotion. "Miss your sister," Linzaya Asu said softly. "Yes, I always wonder if she hadn't entered Kangyuan, then where did she go? Under this vast sky, amidst an endless sea of people, is she alive or dead?" Hujai replied, "Perhaps I should visit the space-time path and ask the master of space-time to do a time-space reversal. Let me trace her journey from 3,000 years ago." Linzaya Asu asked, "The master of space-time can revert back 3,000 years. Legend says he can return 1,000 years, but legend is ultimately just legend. How many years he can truly reverse is unknown. Perhaps he can really do it." Suddenly, the sound of a zither came from the lake. The exquisite melody caught half of the tower's attention. On a flower boat floating on Mirror Lake, a woman in snowy white sat playing the instrument, her magical touch producing music that seemed to transform the moon into a fairy scene in the water, possessing unmatched elegance. "It's Spring River Flower Moon Night," someone exclaimed. "Is this the Marquis Zui Spring River Flower Moon Night?" someone commented. As the people on Jiangnan Road say, as the spring river emerges, the moon and people seem distant, pure as a night, truly celestial music akin to that from heaven. Hujai's gaze suddenly shifted from the lake to Linzaya Asu's face, surprise etched in her eyes. "Did you compose it?" I sort of brought it into this realm," Linzaya Asu modestly replied. "Such vibrancy of music, and I have to hear it from someone else's zither." Hujai's heart was stirred. Her mind was full of no wonder. No wonder the princesses on Kinkyu Mountain were enchanted by him. He truly has remarkable qualities. Not to mention his handsome face, nor his title of Marquis Zui, nor his eloquence in speech, but just the unparalleled talent to create divine compositions makes one's heart move. Though Spring River is beautiful, I prefer his Burial Flower Song, unmatched across the demon domain, truly showcasing the human clan hero style and elegance that endures through the ages. A young gentleman lightly shook his folded fan and said, Capitulo 905, Chapter 708, Earth Core Dai Ting Part 3. Brother Chen's ancient romance, I fear, doesn't refer to Burial Flower Song, but to his overwhelming passion when he destroyed the Demon King Palace in one battle. Haha, Brother Li, see through but don't speak through. That battle is not suitable for discussion, said the man surnamed Chen. What's unsuitable about it? Brother Li replied. That battle, though taboo, who dares to say no to Marquis Zui? With Kang Yu and Liu behind him, who would possibly object? Hu Jai's eyes widened. A single thread of sound pierced Lin Zaiasu's ear. Did you hear what they were saying at that table? Lin Zaiasu nodded with a smile. Did you really go to the demon domain and destroy the Demon King Palace? He nodded again. You have Kang Yu and Liu behind you. You're from Kang Yuan. Hu Jai grew excited. Lin Zaiasu gently shook his head. I'm not from Kang Yuan. I don't have Kang Yu and Liu behind me. Hu Jai asked, then why do they say so? Because this is a misunderstanding I've intentionally created. I want the world to think I have a Kang Yuan background. You are not an outsider. Do not be misled by this. Hu Jai was stunned. Deliberately fabricating a Kang Yuan background, conjuring trouble from nothing, young master, you are playing with fire. And then, Lin Zaiasu said. Hu Jai replied, I've heard of Kang Yuan Liu, one of the Kang Yuan 13 Heavenly Gang, renowned for decisive and deadly actions across the land. Regardless of who or what force he faces, his usual conduct is to cut with a single sword. If he knows you used him as a shield, he may indeed become truly enraged. Will he come looking for me? He will. Lin Zaiasu smiled. Actually, this is my second intention. Besides using him as a shield, I need him to come find me. Hu Jai was stunned. It was the same full moon night. In a mysterious space, willow trees hung their catkins. Beneath the ancient willow, a middle-aged man sat alone. The wind blew past, unable to move the willow catkins. The moonlight cascaded down, seemingly unable to penetrate the shade beneath the willow. The space beneath the willow seemed to exist in this world, and yet not at all. A silhouette came along the river, appearing extremely young, like a teenager in his prime. But if an expert were present, just a glance would reveal that appearances can be deceptive. This person walked on the waves, reaching a realm where waves and people were indistinguishable, clearly at the level of Jai San. In the world of Jai San, no one was younger than a millennium. Treading the waves, Jai San arrived before the middle-aged man under the willow. Brother Liu, have you taken new disciples recently? The middle-aged man under the willow slowly opened his eyes. Others may not know the situation of my disciples. Does brother may not know? Precisely because I know your situation, I am quite surprised. Brother May said, did you know that 20 days ago, something strange happened in the demon domain? What kind of strange event? People say that 20 days ago, Kang Yuan Liu acted in the demon domain. He acted 4 times. The first 3 times, he killed 3 key leaders of the heavenly demon army. The 4th time, when the demon sect leader personally appeared, a willow leaf fell before a young man and kept the demon sect calm. 20 days ago, after punishing the 19th son of the demon emperor in Gui City, I went into seclusion. When did I ever leave Tiangang Lake? Indeed an impersonator, Brother May laughed lightly. Open a window, let me trace time back, show you the willow leaf of that day. Liu raised his hand gently, opening a portal at his fingertip. Beneath his fingertip, the lands of the demon domain vividly appeared. Brother May also pointed a finger, tracing back time. Freezing 20 days ago. Demon domain, sky-splitting valley. Below lay the heavenly demon army. Atop a peak was a palace. The palace spun alone. A commander stood upon it. A willow leaf pierced the air, showcasing the mysterious sword Enigma. The commander died, his way extinguished. Kang Yuan Liu's brows furrowed tightly. The second scene, Haiyan Peak. Again a willow leaf. The third scene, the wasteland, still the same willow leaf. The fourth scene, Demon King Palace. The Demon King Palace had been obliterated under the array path. A heavenly window opened in the sky. Over 10 high-ranking elders of the demon sect emerged. As they rushed towards a young man, a willow leaf pierced through the air, demonstrating Kang Yuan Liu's space sword Dao. Characteristics. The demon sect elders all halted, faces full of shock. Kang Yuan Liui took a deep breath. Such audacity, dare impersonate me and stir chaos. Indeed, the winds and clouds have arisen. The demon sect has contacted the Elder Council, investigating your deep involvement in the demon domain. What exactly is the intention? Brother Mei said. Who is this thief? Great Wilderness Dynasty, Marquis Zui Su Lin. Kang Yuan Liui's gaze slowly lifted, his eyes fierce. The space before him transformed unpredictably. Are you leaving now, Brother Liu? Kang Yuan Liui slowly shook his head. Tonight at midnight marks the beginning of my little sister's ice coffin opening. This matter is of great importance. No one knows the change it may bring. We, the brothers who master the 7 laws, should all be present to strategize against any changes in heaven and earth. After this matter is settled, I will personally step into the mortal realm, capture this thief, and bring him before the Elder Council to clarify this misunderstanding. Desolate capital, the moon was at its zenith. The flow of people dwindled. Lin Zaiasu and Hu Jai walked side by side back, the Lantern Festival lanterns concluding here. No turmoil, only a warm walk through the human world. Next day, Lin Zaiasu entered the palace, requested to see Your Majesty. Straightforwardly, he wished to inspect the north. Your Majesty was delighted upon hearing this. Before him, the one inspecting Jiangnan had profited immensely. Just after Spring Festival, he voluntarily proposed a north inspection. This was another rhythm of making a fortune. Your Majesty smiled. My beloved minister wishes to inspect the north. I am deeply gratified. Your battle squad from that day remains at Jayantai. I grant you the right to call upon them at your discretion. Thank you, Your Majesty. Lin Zaiasu bowed to bid farewell to Your Majesty, exiting the deep palace. 3 figures ascended, heading towards Lanzhou. Capitulo 906, Chapter 708, Earth Core Dai Ting Part 4. The 3 of them, Lin Zaiasu, Hu Jai and Qing Ying. Hu Jai was holding a little white rabbit in her arms. This rabbit was the one saved from little Qing Kai's knife yesterday. It is not an ordinary white rabbit. It is an Earth Core strange beast, the heavenly Tao version of Dai Ting. Just heard from Qing Ying that your southbound army is currently fighting Yan country at Jayantai. Is your first stop going straight to the frontier? Hu Jai asked. There was a clear look of excitement in Qing Ying's eyes. While in Lanzhou, every day she was inspired by his legend, thrilled at his feats that brought sects to their knees with a wave of his hand, losing sleep over excitement. Now, she could finally witness his battlefield tactics firsthand. However, Lin Zaiasu gently shook his head. The fight with Yan country outside Jayantai has been going on for many years, over 100. We'll head to Ning City first and take a look. Qing Ying said, true, the situation at Jayantai was quite perilous before last year, but it's much calmer now. I've heard it's because of a huge scandal that broke out in Yan country. Oh, what kind of scandal? Lin Zaiasu asked. I heard in Yan country's capital, Yaodu, someone posted thousands of big character posters claiming that the monarch of Yan is not of King Yan's direct lineage, but the progeny of the saint heir of the mental path. Yan country is in chaos, and it severely affected their campaign against our Dahuang country. Lin Zaiasu laughed. Are the other 3 battlefields experiencing similar scandals? Qing Ying's eyes sparkled. Are you aware, Marquis? I've heard some rumors. Nothing substantial. Qing Ying, please tell. Qing Ying revealed the new intelligence she had gathered over the past few days. The other 3 battlefields involving 3 countries also had scandals. The methods were the same as Yan country. Big character posters in their capitals, covering the city overnight, known to all citizens, with shocking content inside. The monarch of Yan is a child of the mental path. The frontline commander of Yi country is a member of the mental path. The crown prince of Kaiyuan country is a member of the mental path. The prime minister and minister of war of Chu country are all people of the mental path. The impact created is immense. Yan country is in chaos, with the most intense reaction from the imperial family. Several princes have united and raised troops in the northwest, putting King Yan in a 2-front battle. At the Jayantai front, Dahuang soldiers are stationed day and night singing songs. The songs are quite pleasant, almost like the melody of Spring River Flower Moon Night, but the lyrics are vulgar, saying, the monarch of Yan is a child of the mental path, for whom is the blood shed at the border. Solders of this era mostly still have a sense of loyalty to their emperor, seeing fighting for the emperor as an honor. But this song clearly points out, your emperor is a mental path child. Do you still have loyal thoughts to fight for the imperial family? Just a line of lyrics has severely damaged the morale of the Yan army. This is Zhang Tao's idea, and the lyrics were written by him. Indeed, Zhang Tao also set off with Quang Lang's army, taking the role of a military advisor, testing what he learned from Lin Zai-asu at Jayantai in the north. Attacking the mind with song is one of his tactics in the military path. In the west, after the frontline commander of Yi country was embroiled in scandal, the emperor of Yi country urgently replaced him, significantly reducing the intensity of the western battle. In the east, in Chu country, the minister of war has been imprisoned. The prime minister is also embroiled in scandal, causing political chaos and heavily impacting the frontline battle. On the southern front of Kaiyuan country, the crown prince is embroiled in scandal, threatening the status of the eastern palace. The struggle for succession among the princes has intensified, but the frontline battle remains unaffected. The Kaiyuan army crossed the sea to attack, maintaining its valiance. However, they encountered the seventh prince. The seventh prince has been fighting with real weapons at Jayantai for more than 10 years. Once on the battlefield, his mighty power shone, assisted by the heavenly yin-yang chaos array gifted by the Marquis, achieving continuous victories. The Kaiyuan army has been retreating steadily, now completely withdrawn from the borders of the great wilderness, with the fleet only able to wander the offshore South Sea. In the course of conversation, they traveled 1,000 miles. By noon, they reached Lanzhou. Upon reaching Lanzhou, the vast and desolate northwest gave an impression of boundless vastness. The mountains were incomparably tall. The canyons exceptionally deep. The great river roared and surged here. The heavens and the earth were remarkably high and distant here. If this vast land had a bright pearl, it would undoubtedly be Lanzhou. Capitulo 907, Chapter 709, The Land of Lanzhou, King Lanning. In the land of Lanzhou, there is a giant lake named Tianji Lake. The waters of Tianji Lake nourish the land of Lanzhou, transforming this desolate prairie into outer Jiangnan. However, that is a tale of the past. The present-day Lanzhou is facing hardships rivaled by no other northern regions. At the northernmost end, bordering Yan country, is Jayantai, where wars rage annually, forcing people to gradually migrate southward. To the west, once the most affluent area of Lanzhou, it has now succumbed to the deadly invasion of Menjian grass, rendering half of the region uninhabitable. As a result, nearly all of Lanzhou's populace has been squeezed into a small area of less than 50 miles east of Ning City. A local poet once wrote, "In the past, Jiangnan's half remains, unaware if heaven worries or not." This poet was imprisoned in Ning City's prison, charged with defaming your majesty. Objectively speaking, it indeed was a reference to your majesty, since the heaven mentioned in his poem implied your majesty. These matters were relayed to Lin Zai-asu by Qing Ying from high above. She gestured toward the giant lake in the distance and said, "There lies Tianji Lake, now entirely turned into a poison lake under the control of the Kaiyan-Du sect." Lin Zai-asu, with his heavenly Tao wisdom eye, surveyed the waters below, which seemed to draw nearer. The waters appeared pure and transparent, yet under the sensing of his primordial spirit, even he was startled. The toxicity of this water is extraordinary, almost akin to the waters of that place from the days of Chang Yi. The waters of that place, during Chang Yi's time, were terrifying within the entire Great Xia realm. Probably only back then did he dare to taste a first rank. Even during the tasting process, Chang Yi monitored the entire time anxiously, ready to kick him aside at the slightest irregularity. But here, a lake is filled with water of comparable toxicity. More terrifyingly, there are fish and various creatures within this lake, some even extraordinarily bizarre. These are not naturally occurring creatures. These are toxic creatures cultivated by the Wandu sect. That is the terrifying aspect of the poison sect. They can easily alter ecosystems, making the world uninhabitable for all except for themselves. Without needing to resort to slaughter, they can utterly dominate half a region with immense strength. The Menjian grass spreads in patches below. Wherever there is soil, there is its presence. However, there is an exception. It is a seemingly ordinary barren hill. The Menjian grass has encircled the area 10 miles surrounding this barren hill, yet there is no grass on this hill, standing out amidst the land covered by Menjian grass. What place is that? Lin Zai-asu raised his hand slightly, pointing at the barren hill. Qing Ying replied, "There lies a rather tragic story about a governor from 10 years ago. That governor's surname was He, full name He Zhengdao. True to his name, he was an honest official, walking the righteous path. When the Menjian grass invaded and poison spread rampantly, he led the state's soldiers in direct confrontation with the Kayan-Du sect, accusing them of poison release and urging the court to send troops to suppress them. However, during that time, the crown prince was overseeing the reign, and the court turned a deaf ear. This honorable governor was also poisoned and could not be cured. On his deathbed, he left behind an earth-shattering will, declaring that he wished to be buried on that barren hill so that he could witness the downfall of the Kayan-Du sect even from the underworld. Thus he was buried there. On the day of burial, autumn rain drizzled, and people said even the heavens cried. The streets were deserted, as a multitude of people bid farewell to the governor. After his burial, during every lantern festival in Kingaming, countless people would come to pay their respects. As time passed, the barren hill slowly became encircled by Menjian grass. However, the local people, despite the great dangers, persistently cleared the Menjian grass. They refused to let the vile grass grow over the grave of such a good official. Every time the Menjian grass was cleared, people would die. Yet regardless of the casualties, the stubborn villagers continued relentlessly, like moths drawn to flames. Qingying sighed in sorrow at this point. Her father also once aspired to be a good official, with his only wish being that after his death, if the people would offer an incense stick for him each year, he would be content. Alas, such a wish was never granted to her father, for he fell victim to the intrigue of the former crown prince, and his body was disposed of in the chaotic burial mound. Even now, his name has not been cleared, nor is there a tablet for offerings. In truth, the prime minister's high rank distanced him too much from the common people. Even if there were a tablet, the public would not have known who this departed prime minister was. Let's go down and have a look. Lin Zaiasu stepped through the void and landed on the barren hill. Before him stood merely a mound of earth. There was no tombstone, but on the blue stone in front, there were blood-red characters carved, the tomb of the late Lord Governor He Zhengdao. The blood-red characters lacked calligraphic foundation, clearly carved by the populace. Qingying said, "The last time I came here, I met a villager clearing grass. This villager said that initially, the government had erected a tombstone for this governor, but it was removed and thrown into the lake. So, the villagers carved this makeshift tombstone on the stone, pricking their fingers to let their blood flow, forming today's blood monument." "This blood is still fresh," Hu Jai remarked. "Yesterday was Lantern Festival. Evidently, villagers had come to burn paper money here, and the bloodstains might be their additions." Lin Zaiasu pointed to a heap of paper ashes on the ground. "It seems this governor truly was a good official," Hu Jai mused. Qingying remarked, "The bureaucratic world of Lanzhou is peculiar. In ordinary places with such suffering, there would certainly be conflict between officials and the populace. Yet in Lanzhou, no matter how dire their circumstances, they are still grateful to the officials.